people who've joined. Adenike Aweda, welcome. Thank you. Dami Yakubu has joined as well. He's supposed to be a panelist, but he's somehow on the attendee side. Welcome. D. Sylvester, welcome. Welcome, everyone, even if I don't mention you by name, because I think, hi, Toby. I think there's a glitch where my name is appearing in place of some of your names. So please forgive me. What you can do is drop a comment with your name and where you've joined us from, and I will be sure to welcome you in person. So for the first book reading, so this is the way the agenda goes. We have the book reading. I'm going to share some parts of the book with you, and then we go straight into panel one. And then, we chat about what we've talked about in panel one. So let me get the book reading out of the way. The book reading, by the way, Winging It is available on Amazon globally. Amazon globally, paperback, hardcover. You can do the Kindle version as well. For those of us local in Nigeria, it's available on Seller as an ebook. The physical copies are now available. They were delivered this morning. We're working with Roving Heights, but I would send out, an announcement as soon as we have it actually on the shelves at Roving Heights. So there's a bit of a process, there that we started, and they can also deliver physical copies of the book to you. Great. So the part I'm going to read is from chapter 3. It's titled Money, Money, Money. Money, money, money must be funny in a rich man's world. From that song, I'm sure you guys know it. Money, money, money must be funny in a rich man's world. So that's where it's from. I'm going to read a little bit of it just so you get a taste of it. I should give you a what? Yes, loud and clear. I can hear you. Okay. She's my EA. If you hear me say Mary, I'm talking to her, and then there's Tunde, technical guy. So is there still feedback? So what feedback? Is it like an echo of my voice or something else in the background? Got it. That's what Shakirata said as well. Oh. So my voice is duplicated, and then I will say something, and then it will come back again 5 seconds after. That's what they're hearing. More than 5 seconds. They need to mute the second camera. It's muted. In fact, this laptop is fully muted. I can't hear even school. Not because it was some nutritional choice or trendy, we are going back to our roots thing. Because it was affordable. But we didn't know that. We just knew it was breakfast. It was normal. It was what we did. My parents shielded us from money stress completely. They never fought about money where we could hear. They never complained about not having enough. They never made us feel like we were lacking or suffering. And honestly, they did an amazing job of preserving our childhood and protecting our innocence. But, and this is important, they also never talked to us about money. How to make it, manage it, save it, grow it. Money was this mysterious thing that adults handled. We weren't included in those conversations. We weren't taught. There's a small part I'm going to read out, from this excerpt as well, and then we go to the first panel. It's about the poverty mindset we inherited, even when we are not poor anymore. And I hope that maybe some of us on the call can see yourselves in it, not because you are self-flagellating. It is what it is. There's something I want to say, and there's something I've learned to accept, that I can accept negative or sub-positive things about myself without self-flagellating. It is what it is. If I feel like a decision that I have made, realization, if it's something I want to fix, I fix. If I don't want to fix, then it is what it is. So here's something wild about growing up in hard money and can't enjoy it because you're always waiting for disaster. You can't spend on yourself even when you can afford it because it just feels wasteful. You feel guilty every time you buy something nice. You are terrified of losing what you have. You can't celebrate wins because you are worried about what comes next. You make decisions from fear. People with this mindset have money in the bank but live like they are broke because they are so afraid of being broke again. The other side of it, which is where I fall, is the overcompensation mindset. To prove you've made it. Say no to spending because you deserve it after struggling. I do that a bit. Comfort. Present. You live right at or above your means because you are allergic to feeling poor again. Well, you avoid looking at your bank balance because ignorance feels better than reality. Present, ma, present, sir. I don't like my bank balance. I don't like looking at it. I don't like money conversations. Somewhere at the back of my mind, I try to keep a tally. Okay, I spent this, I spent this. This is what should be in the account. For me to know, I should check it now, right? No, I won't do that because then I'll be confronted with the actual truth of it. So people with this mindset make money but can't keep it because they are spending. It is what it is. It is what it is. I don't say this or I don't come to this realization and writing this down. Oh, there's something broken with. It is what it is. You know, if I want to fix it, I fix it. If I don't want to fix it, I learn to live with it and around it. So that's where we are. Okay, so
Yes,
great.
We started
Okay.
a long time ago.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay,
I
guys.
see
So
you
we're
clearly.
doing
I
the
hear
first
you
panel. Are we ready for the first panel? Are we ready for the first panel? No. Let's go to the first panel, please. Thank you. Okay. Great. So the first panel is a panel on marriage. It's a very interesting panel because I have some of my, I think I have everything on the panel. We have, a couple who I will call, a mature couple, made the decision to get married, so my guess, my assumption, which I'm hoping they can confirm or absolutely deny it. I don't know where the thing actually started because they apparently were friends for the longest time, right? Before at some point, maybe a light bulb switched on. I don't know what it is, but I'm hoping that in the short time we have, they can tell us or we can decipher some parts, of that.
Mention the age. If
But
it's sure
wait,
for you.
but I don't
Mention
understand. But wait, why am I being harassed? I'm the author. Author. It's my name. Author. So at some point, they transition from friendship to, becoming lovers and, they're married. And then we have another couple, very private couple. You really don't know much about them except when they want to share about, business or they want to share cute pictures of their son with us, somebody every day when before you were just a get up and go person. That was a struggle for me, but I won't get into that now. So it's Dr. Mutiat Sunshine.
Oh, yeah,
You-
that's fine. But I'm here.
I know. So Dr. Mutiat Sunshine Oji, she's here representing herself and her husband, Mr. Chibweze Igwe Oji. Very down to earth, very candid, very amazing. The pleasure of interacting with her one-on-one. She's one of the warmest. She has one of the warmest voices, vocally, but one of the strictest voices writtenly. When you read Mutiat on social media, she looks like somebody that can use cane to flog you. But then when she speaks to you, she's just so warm. She's so warm. It's very, very conflicting something. Welcome. I'm really grateful to have you. Thank you so much for joining. The second couple we call them Pastor and Pastor Mrs. Onuora, and they probably were born in the same hospital, both of them. They grew up together in the same neighborhood.
Wow. Wow.
We're like, how far now? You don't get boyfriends, I don't get to. You get girlfriends, I don't get. Oh yeah, come now. I think that was what happened. You can't even tell me nothing.
I told you she would do this.
You can't tell me nothing. So welcome. Thank you for joining. We can't tell me nothing. So welcome. Thank you for joining. We also have Nell.
When you taste this last cookie, I taste Moti's cookie. We know the difference is clear. It's 7-Up. So the first time she ate his food, and she was like, Moti. I was like, yeah, exactly. She ate his beans. My mom is very picky eater. He cooked beans and she ate his beans.
Wow.
And like when the beans ran out, Moti was the one that was helping him bring the equipment.
So
He's
cook
like,
round
when,
two.
When the spirit leads, he likes to cook. So things like that. Even checking in financially, we had to check in financially with each other. We know I travel a lot. This year alone, I have 5 trips booked. But he had to remind me, your pockets, going to back where you were talking about spending money, your pocket does not match the income you bring in Moti. You have to let your trip come. And that's something a spouse
Yeah.
should be able to do with that, do for
Yeah.
you without, worrying that they might hurt you and all that. And I've done the same thing for him. Like,
Yes.
bro, the
Yes.
club you are going to go. Last week you went to club, you spent $300. This week, I think you should stay home and drink your wine at home. So kind of situation. So those are the
Yes.
things you have to be able
Oh,
to bring
that's
to a relationship
amazing.
without worrying about that.
Yes.
So
Yes, I
that's my
love
experience. So
that.
my marriage experience is completely different from a whole lot of people.
Yes. Oh no, I love that. But and I'm now going to circle back again, with this because from what you said, right? I'm going to circle back and go to Atinuke. So, benefit of going into a marriage mature, knowing what you want, and it has nothing to do with age, to be honest. Some people are very very mentally, physically, emotionally just developed and stable, either by virtue of the experiences they've been through as children or whatever, but they are just 21 and they know what they're doing, and they've kind of formed that sense of identity and self very early. In fact, our third panel is on identity and self. They formed it early, know what they're doing and they're good. However, we find in most cases, which was my case when I got married, initially, was that sense of self was still developing. So what then happens is you get married, kind of feeling like you know what you want. You weren't lying to your partner when you guys sat down and had some conversations around number of kids. If mother comes to you do, you had those conversations and you weren't lying. You were saying what you thought you wanted at that time. But then because you are still evolving, you now marry. You now discover you want different things. You now change. That's when your spouse says, you are not who I married, you've changed. Everything I say, Mutia did say something around her husband told her this was who he was. He liked cooking, he liked this, he liked that, and he remained that person. He didn't get married and say, you know what, actually, is the woman that should be doing it. She also went into the marriage telling him clearly, this is who I am, this is what I like, this is what I don't do, this is what I... She didn't go into the marriage then changing. In those cases where we are still evolving and then we now marry and then we now change, have you found aspects of or how have you both dealt with that? Have you dealt with it? Is that something you've had to deal with? Getting married and then discovering that maybe what I thought I wanted was not what I really wanted. How have you navigated that, if at all? Like I said, there's some people who what I ordered is what I got and it's still what I'm getting and we're good. And that's fine as well. So is that something you've had to navigate, and evolving sense of identity that is now changing something core in the relationship? Is that something you've experienced, Atinuke, in your marriage?
Okay, so not something that we have experienced really, because it was what I ordered. It wasn't a case of what I ordered versus what I got.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I do know that there's some like tiny bits of like things that you don't expect. You expect someone. So we're over at some of our friends' place over the weekend, and we were discussing about how you know, I was more like the husband of my friend, where I want most things like kept when you pick up a cup, drink the water and put the cup back. Or when you finish, you just picked up a slice of bread, you just buttered it up. There are crumbles on the island or the cabinets. It takes just like 2 seconds for you to
To
just
clean it up.
you know, pick it up and just wipe it. You don't have to give it a date and be like, okay, when I finish eating this bread and I have a cup of milk, and I could be like that. Um, but I do not. I know that my husband is not like that. My husband wants to. When he's done, he'll watch a bit of 10 minutes of movie and then come back and say, "Oh, okay, let me wipe it," which is not that is like really bad. It's not like he's leaving it till next week. He's just
Yes.
leaving it for like maybe 10 minutes. But then we're talking about the fact that we don't then expect you can only expect the other partner to make effort towards being better
True.
at it.
For you, yeah.
And he is not then a better
True.
at it.
For you, yeah.
And he is not then expecting me to change. He has to accept the fact that this is how my wife change. He has to accept the fact that this is how my wife is. I am not. What leads to us, fighting about it and nagging about not. what leads to us, fighting about it and nagging about it is because you expect me to stop being, to stop clearing putting my cup back all of a
Yes.
sudden and stop asking you. And then I also expect you want me to understand you. Like we have to like understand each other that this is my wife. I can only make efforts to be better. And hope that she sees that, I'm actually making effort, and sometimes because it's not really a part of me, I can progress. We did
Yeah.
technically marry young, like, but for me, I had to go through a form of self-awareness. He never had any relationship. Like I'm his first everything. So, but I had relationships that were really awful. That if at that age, honestly, wait till I had to like give myself like 3 years before I met my husband to be able to have the kind of marriage I have today, because I had to go through that 3 years of self-awareness to know who I was, what I want, how my background shaped who I
Who you
am, how
are.
my faith is shaping what I am. If I had, hopped from one relationship into another, I might not even have married my husband or not exactly what I wanted. So the self-awareness had to start first. And I think going through that for like 3 years helped me to, just know what I want, and then beautiful that I've mentioned
Yes.
initially.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I mean, it's very great to hear of, kind of changing realities at the core of who you are. That's not really been the thing. It's been more of, there's this thing they say in team building, forming, storming. There are different stages to team building. A marriage is a team, right? You form, you storm, you have issues where, why is your cup there? As simple as it is, these are the things that mount up to frustration that makes you pack your bag one day and say, you know what, I'm done. Over a very small argument. I'm like, did he beat you? Did he, please, if you're one of those on this call that says, was he abusive? Did he beat you? Did she? Sometimes you've had enough is more mental than physical. It's more mental than physical. Okay, so thank you for sharing that. I think having a partner that is willing. Oh, I see Dami. Dami's chipping in. He says, I think we were clear on. I'm reading from Atinuke's husband, Dami Yakubu, in the comments. He says the difference in the comments. He says the differences we accepted and He says to chip in, I think we were clear on our core values and our non-negotiables. Accepted and loved each other through them. They were clear on their core values and non-negotiables. In the book, I talked about what your non-negotiables are, what truly are non-negotiables, and to be honest, what you should throw away because they are negotiable. I talked also in the chapter about relationships, about who you need to be before you can put yourself forward for a healthy. One thing you wish more people in relationships should on to, that maybe they are not. There's always a lot of chatter about relationships. Every other anonymous post on groups I'm on is about a boyfriend or a husband or a wife or something. So there's always a lot of chatter around different topics. What's that one thing that you would say, and as briefly as you can, that people in relationships should pay more attention to before they actually commit, that maybe they are not paying attention to, rather they are distracted with other things? So what's that one thing? Oh, I can't hear
I
you.
can't hear her. Can
Yes, I
anybody
can't
hear
hear you either. You're muted, but I can't hear you.
You're muted.
Yes, you are unmuted. No, still cannot hear you. I see you're trying to speak. Yeah, I heard you. It went in and out.
Oh, now, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear now.
Now,
Yeah.
now.
Yes,
All
hear
right,
you
good.
now.
I don't have one thing. I have three things that I'm gonna quickly run through.
Please go.
One, you have to know yourself. You have to know yourself first before you put yourself in a relationship. You have to know what you like, what you don't like, things like that. Number two, while you are dating, while you are in the courtship phase, you actually have to communicate. It's just not hamburgers and whatnot. You got to talk about what you want, what your expectations are, what your core values are, what your non-negotiables are. Those are very, very important. And three, you have to look at your partner's non-verbal communication. You have to see how it interacts with people. If a person is mean to other people but nice to you, is that really who you want? In Yoruba land, if he doesn't have Olubawi, if he doesn't have anyone that you can report him to, report her to do something, do you really want to talk to that person? So very, very important. Know who yourself, know who you are, communicate with your partner during the relationship. What do you want? What do you not like? What are your core values and things like that?
Yeah.
And three, watch the nonverbal
Non-verbal
communication.
cues.
That's very, very important. So I'll just wrap
Thank
it
you
up with
so
those three
much.
questions.
Thank you so much. Yes, non-verbal cues. And I think you said something really important. Is this? It's not hamburgers and just love and flutters in your stomach. And that thing that, oh, they put a different foot forward and then became somebody else when you committed. Why would you? It's one of the most important relationships of your life is who you marry. So why would you not want to do it right? Why would you want to be stuck with someone, or why would you want to be present a version of you that's different from who you actually are, so that you can lock someone in and then torture yourself and the person? It's just, anyway. I've really
Which is
enjoyed.
why watching the nonverbal communication
It's important,
matters.
exactly. So that's
no
what
matter.
yeah.
Yeah, that's very important. It's not
can't
only
hide
what
that.
they say; it's what they do. It's how they treat other people.
You can't hide
Things
that.
like that, very, very important. Yes, they can lie to you, but you and your gut. Always go with your gut. If your gut tells you something's wrong, something is wrong. Don't try to say, "And maybe you give it that." Okay, I have to cut myself and say, "F that ish. It's not gonna get better. Get the F out." So kind of situation. So.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this session. Thank you. What I'm hoping would happen is that this will form a seed where we can actually have proper conversations for those of us who, on a normal day, you're doing this thing every day. You're doing it right every day, but you don't necessarily see it as a platform for you to talk about. I'm hoping to be able to create that platform for more people within our generation so that we can talk about the real things. So I'm hoping this is the seed for a series on, like real talk about some of the things that others can relate to as well. Thank you so much, my panelists on the marriage session. Do not go. You are supposed to be here for the entire event so that you can, contribute richly. I really love what's happening in the comment section, which is what I'm supposed to do next on the agenda, is to go look at some of what we've talked about while we move to the next panel. So the next panel is the very interesting one. All the panels are interesting, but it's interesting because the fight started even before we started the program. And I'm hoping the person that started the fight, where is he? Is he here? Is he here? He should come and back it up. We are ready for him. Okay, cool. So let me just go through the comments a little bit and then we move to the Gen Z versus Millennials panel. So we've had, just very interesting chat conversations here. Dr. Shakira, thank you for thanking the panelists. Yes, be your true self and they can decide whether it's for them or not. Exactly. Thank you so much for that contribution. I like that Nike said, while love helps, we both have to learn in the marriage that love by itself is not enough. We both had to learn. She's talking about her experience with Ian, her husband. Grace, kindness, forgiveness. Nikki and Ian were supposed to be on this panel, but they're on vacation. And somehow she's here full time. Learning that it doesn't conquer all. So thank you so much, those of us in the comment section. Yes, Honora says he needs to step out. We give you permission for 10 minutes. I'll be tracking you, sir. So 10 minutes. I see Ola Binjo has joined. Hello, Binjo. Welcome, welcome. I know you've been here for a while, but I couldn't properly say
Hi,
hello
everyone.
to you.
Yes,
hi,
I have.
hi. Thank you. Thank
No
you
worries.
so much. Okay, guys. So we're going to the next panel session right away. This panel is very interesting. I love it because it has a mix of, different ideas, different things. I'm really looking forward to the conversations that we're about to have here. So this is the Gen Z versus Millennials. And I say versus, it's not really versus. We're not here to fight. You guys came after us. So you need to be, gent. gent. So I'm going to start with the panel. First, I have two sisters from different spectrums. One is very firmly millennial. In fact, millennial with a touch of Gen X maturity. Gen X maturity. And I know this because she's a firstborn. So millennials that are firstborns, you borrowed small boomer. You borrowed small boomer, small Gen X. You're a bit more mature than you should be. So out there, opinions, out there opinions, as is exemplified by her generation. Just weird things that they believe in and can die, weird hills they can die on. So welcome so much, Ibukunlua. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She's my honorary borrowed younger sister. Thank you. My actual younger sister, I don't even know. She's just elderly in a way that is not. Anyway, so thank you for being on this panel. I have a mother and son duo. The mother is my namesake and one of my besties, Olajumoke Leo. Olajumoke Leo is, J Leo, are you millennial or are you? She's about to yab me. Are you millennial or are you Gen X? Labake, were you saying
At the
something?
very tail end of Gen X.
I know, very tail end. I know. Labake, you are speaking, but we can't hear you. I know you are talking. You are saying things with your facial expression. Yes, she's very tail end of Gen X, but I feel like you've inserted yourself into, you feel more millennial to me because most of you surrounded yourself with we millennials, and you're very millennial in your, you are not Gen X in your outlook. You're very millennial in your outlook. However, you have a family Gen Z son who's navigated his teenage years for a few years now, at the tail end of teenage years, going into the university very soon. Tamilore has evolved, and Tammy, you're on this panel because you're an amazing young man who's, even as a teenager, you found your footing, you know what you're doing. Tamilore DJs, like he DJs, he's actually a DJ that gets invited to parties. He DJs, he does music. He does quite a few things as well. Like I said, he's going to college really soon. So I wanted Tamilore here because I wanted to kind of hear your version, because you're on the younger end of the, Gen Z spectrum. And I really wanted to hear, your voice as well. So thank you for joining. Really honored to have you here. Thank you so much. Okay, so we also have Victor. Is Victor here? Victor D. It's Victor that was scattered this place today. God.
Yes. Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Victor. So we have Victor Daniel.
Hi,
Victor Daniel is a lawyer. I'm not sure if he went to law school so that he can arm himself with the wits and the tools to fight, or he could fight normally and then just decided that let me just go to law school to consolidate on my fighting skills. I don't know which came first, the fight or the but Victor is a lawyer. He's a writer. I started to work with him, on the first drafts of the book. Victor helped me shape how I thought about putting this book together. Victor is a friend and a brother and a very vocal Gen Z as well. He's like a male version of Ibukunda. Say what's on their mind and let all of you run wild in the comment section, and then come and say his own again and leave you continue part 2. So thank you so much for joining, Victor. Really happy to have you here. Cassandra, are you here? Cassandra, was she able to join? I know she joined the test conversations, but I'm not sure. I have her here. Great. Okay. Well, Cassandra, if she joins, please someone just write me a comment so I could bring her on. Okay, so this panel, we want to have a honest conversation. There is this, and I explored the concept of, in what we owe the next generation. I talked about just my experiences navigating adulthood with Gen Zs, because we are the new set of adults, right? The ones that went before us, they are now elders. We are now the current adults. And just navigating a world with a generation that half the time I'm jealous of, half the time I'm very critical of, because I don't know what's wrong with them, right? I'm jealous of because they have a voice that we didn't know we could have. But nobody really told us we couldn't have it. We just assumed we couldn't. Maybe because of upbringing or something. I don't know. But you see your Gen Z sibling navigate life in a way that you didn't know you had permission to. So it's annoying you a little bit. Like, who told you could say that? you know, you see them with your parents, your parents say something and your Gen Z sibling says, no, I don't want to do that. And your mind, you're like, problem is about to start. And problem does not start. Because mommy and daddy are like, okay, well, no problem. If she doesn't want to do it, she doesn't have to do it. And you're like, if she doesn't want to do it, she doesn't have to do it, K. No, she has to do it, oh. She has to do it because I did it. I did it. What do you mean she doesn't have to do it? I did it. You're having Gen Zs now say, you know what? This whole 9 to 5 is not really for me. I just want to chill at home, and in your mind, you're like, no, you graduate, you look for a job. And they're like, no, that's you guys. So don't let me pontificate too much. So the question here is, what do you wish your generation or the other generation knew about yours so that they can just calm down? I wanted to also have a healthy conversation around expectations from, because we have to navigate this world together. We are the ones growing up together now, millennials and Gen Zs. I'm a millennial. I've employed Gen Zs at work that I don't get, but I have to understand. So let's talk about it. I'm going to start with Ibukun. I'm going to you, Ibukun. And I'm going to you because you have millennial siblings, 3 millennial siblings ahead of you. And you are not a last born somebody can push aside. No. So what is it? What is that thing that every day you wish they kind of just head you clearer on about who you are, in the generation you found yourself?
So yeah, this is a very good question in the sense that my own generation, my own birth year is actually we're called zillennials because they say we're too old to be Gen Z,
Yes.
but we're too young to be millennials. So they put us as, we're just thrown somewhere in the middle, right? We're Gen Z, but we're zillennials. And for me, I would say I've been outspoken, right, in a way that a lot of people my age might be considered rude. And I've kind of made myself have a presence in my home and amongst my siblings. The other day, my sister was including me in something, and I told her that, lady, I'm not among, like, this plan that I am making, I am not among, like, typically, right, I am your baby sister. I mean, we have that relationship. I love my sister to death. I love my family to death. But the minute she
Sorry,
just
can you
started
hear me now?
including
Can
me, and it
anybody
was
hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Great.
Yes,
Sorry,
we
I
can
have
hear
to
you
sign
now.
in. I have to sign out and sign back in. Thank you.
Okay. So, Ibukun, go
Okay.
ahead, please. Sorry.
That's my sister, by the way. That's the sister.
That's the
So
sister.
I've kind of I've kind of made myself clear in a sense that they can say, oh, Ibuku is very rude, or Ibuku is something, but they've learned to respect me. I also have a relationship whereby my sister, as much as she's 11 years older than me, also talks to me. She's
Same
made
thing.
me feel wise and confident in myself. So I've not really had to fight in a hear what I am saying. I've not had to over explain like a lot of things. They understand. Oh, if Ibuku doesn't want kids, and if Ibuku doesn't want to do childcare, she's not going to do childcare because she said so. So there are certain things that they just don't bother
I'm sorry.
asking me, which
Did you
is
guys
why
hear that?
I kind of
Am
encourage.
I muted? I'm sorry. Sorry, Ibukun. I just wanted to highlight something. Did you guys hear that
No, we
very
can hear
Gen
you.
I'm
Z?
not muted.
Did you hear that Gen Z thing? I don't want kids. Just said it quietly. Like, I don't want kids. Like, can you even say that? Can a millennial tell their parents that? Actually, I thought about it and I don't want kids. Like, casually. Ibukun said it and she's alive. Look at her. Nobody killed her. Is that something that you are allowed to say? Is that something you can tell your friend? She's alive. She's a testament to the fact that we've been scammed. I'm sorry, Ibukun, please continue. I just wanted to spotlight what you just said casually.
So yeah, so I think that's what my own experience has been like, growing up in a household where I can talk, right, and then having a sister that backs me up. I think having a sister that was also rebellious. She doesn't agree that she was rebellious, but she's rebelled. So she paved the way for me, pretty much.
Labake, is that you? Are you the way paver for the rebellion? Please answer for yourself.
So to be honest, I had an aunt, and because I always I have people who had paid it forward in my life who actually did teach me that. I have an aunt in particular Auntie Fola, one of the things she said to me growing up was, freedom is not given, it's taken. And
Clock it.
I started, so I started out being the very compliant first child, being taught that I will translate that for those who are not placed horse. The horse in first place is the one that the horses at the back look at, and and it sets the pace for the horses at the back. So everybody literally is chasing after that horse in front to actually reach the space. So I was said, a lot of things were said to me. Your siblings are looking up to you and blah blah blah. But at a point, I actually, I think I had a grace of being raised by parents who had two different worldviews, and one who leaned into some forward thinking. Despite the fact that my mom was being okay, there was some people. Okay, sorry, it's Jumoke's voice. I can hear.
I'm
okay,
sorry.
So,
sorry.
yeah, that's okay. That's that's right. So I got to a point in my life where I realized that there were things about myself I really needed to express, and I needed to break myself away from the shackles of some of the being raised in a church that was quite traditionally Pentecostal. I wanted to be able to. So I really needed to break free, and I needed to do some things, knowing that if I did not win those freedoms for my siblings, I will do it. I'll be compliant. I will live my life being upset and being resentful. So I needed to. Was I rebellious? It was termed that at the time, but it was me being a pace setter. I had to set the pace and pave the way. And I set myself. It came at a price. There's a mark on my forehead somewhere here. Somewhere here. There's a bit on my head in the times of. So I had to do some of those things and set the pace for my rest three siblings who were coming behind me. And we've had some conversations over the years, because there were some of those things that I think I was raised quite self-aware too as well. So I had to be able to weigh. I had to have a conversation with my dad and my parents at some point and say, look, you've raised me, right? And you've said these things, you've laid some foundations. Now I'm trying to find my way. Why don't you trust me? Trust the foundation that you have laid enough for me to be able to find my way and set. I'm not doing anything detrimental. I'm not doing. Did I do some things that veered a little bit off the path? Yes, I did. But I needed to be able to find that path, to be able to know that certain things were dangerous and I wouldn't veer that path, and be able to guide my siblings. So yes, could it be termed as rebellion? A lot of it sounded quite rebellious. I mean, I'm in my 40s now with blue hair.
And you've had that blue hair for a while. And
I mean, I do have tattoos, and
I'm not even sure we remember what you look like without the blue hair anymore. So, well, until you decide to change it, we'll be here. Loving the blue hair. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. So,
Let me just add one last
Oh,
thing.
yes. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead, please.
My sister and I got our first tattoos on the same day, and I just want you to know about my tattoo to me, but he called my sister and was telling her that I hope she knows she's somebody's mother. He never said anything because he expected that kind of behavior from me, but he didn't expect it from her. So that is part of the, would I say, generational divide.
Yes.
My dad has I have gotten multiple tattoos after that. My dad hasn't said a word to me about a single one of them. My mom has told me that maybe it's time for me to stop, but my dad has never said anything. But when my sister got hers, my dad crashed, we'll say crashed out, but he pretty much crashed out. It's like, girl, what the hell are you doing? So stuff like that, yeah.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. The same behavior. Look at how two different children from the same household, different generations. For Labaka, is what do you mean? What's all this that you're doing? For Ibuku, let's just look away. Let's just look away. I want to say something, and then I will then go to I'll go to Victor. What happens then sometimes is, instead of that healthy, what Labake described is a healthy understanding that, look, for me to be able to, for the others coming after me to enjoy some kind of leverage or freedoms that I didn't have, then I need to go. I can't be overly compliant. Even when, to be honest, I didn't have a personal stake in it, I just need to, rebel to an extent where those coming after me are able to enjoy the freedom that I create. What happens if, when you grow up in a household, child who is a millennial, or the first two kids who are millennials, unfortunately have maybe a people-pleasing thing, is they become overly compliant and become resentful of the person who is now coming from behind, who has freedoms that they didn't enjoy, you know? And then they join that culture of getting that person to subject rather than helping them advocate or advocating for them. Rather than, look, things are a bit different now. You know that thing where people suffer something within a culture, and rather than say, look, others coming after me must not suffer this thing, they say, that's how I suffered it. You must suffer it as well. Those are two different approaches, you know, to it. So, Victor, I'm going to ask you, what are some of the things now, and still related to the question, you know, what are things that you think the millennials should know about? And please clarify, are you Gen Z or are you Zillennial or are you millennial apologies? Or what are you, which one are you? You don't have to say, just tell us what you're for. But what are those resentments that you see or that you think, you know, is just, I mean, tell us a bit about what you've seen in the slight generational divide that millennials could do better, for example. Hi, Victor. I think you are muted a little bit.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, I am a post millennial. I am one of those people who were born in the last year of the millennial. So
Yes,
I am
great.
millennial, but like
Zillennial as well.
like yeah. Like Ibukun described, I am closer in behavior to the Gen Z than I am to millennials. However, because of my I had a very millennial upbringing.
Okay, Victor, the network is a bit in and out. Or is it just
Who
me?
raised millennials before me.
Okay, yes.
Both of my aunties, my mom raised
Great.
like always. Yeah, that's what did you say?
No. The network was bad, but it got
Hello?
better. It got better a little bit. We couldn't hear you clearly,
Oh,
but
okay.
now it's better.
Oh, okay. So, like I said, I was raised by parents who raised millennials, and I was raised, like one who raised a millennial. And so there's something I'd like to say. You can hear me, right?
Yes. But we can't see your video though. Are you
Yeah.
sharing video?
No. Because of the network, I put my video off so that I
Okay.
can optimize.
That's fine. That's fine. We can hear you.
Yeah. So, um, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a bit. So yes, I found myself where in a position where yes, a lot of the things that Gen Zs are praised for actually started from the late millennials. Like I feel like I can point to the point in history where the shift started happening, where people like if you went back to Facebook in 2014, 2015, you would actually see millennials rebelling. You would see 90s born millennials questioning a lot of things that were considered millennial norms. They were questioning it, but they did not have the bravery to act on it. And then the Gen Z ones are the ones who matured into this culture and started acting. So I belong to the class of millennials who actually love that the Gen Zs have the audacity to act on the ideologies that we have. I don't know if you are getting me.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
I could hear you. Yes.
Yeah. So, our behavior towards respect, religion, parental expectations, a lot of people who have been, a lot of people my age were questioning it. But they're questioning it in a way where they negotiate it. Man now, I'm like a man in my own household. I will get a tattoo and you get mad about it, but I'm going to be somebody's father soon. You cannot do anything about it. Sort of.
Cannot do
And
anything
then they're
about
like,
it.
so are you saying it's your sisters? And I said, because, of course, thank God for dependence too. So they were asking me, so are you saying with your both younger sisters, get tattoos, you're not going to say anything about it? And I'm telling them, if they get to my age and they've gotten married, I will not say anything about it because they are, adults who can make their own decisions. And my mother was scandalized. Ever since then, they don't let my sisters visit me unsupervised because they think I'll corrupt them. But this is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
The truth is, every generation rebelled. Every generation rebelled. The problem is they have to brand new. But you know that you also rebelled against your parents' generation. I see the things my parents do that they could not do. Like I know that my parents were raised in the 70s and 80s and
Yes.
boom, where everything was demonized. Red television, women wearing trousers. They had to leave the Anglican church and go to what was a new generation church, back then, Winners Chapel. And
Yes.
then my mother was selling trousers and so and how she don't understand how huge this rebellion was. And me getting a tattoo and my younger sisters getting a tattoo when they grow is also during the
Yeah.
rebellion. A
Thank
lot
you,
of
Victor.
people, yes. So
Thank
a
you.
lot of people, millionaires, have to understand that rebellion is a generational thing, and norms will never remain norms. As generations pass, people will they just have to make allowance for it.
Yes.
The most important thing is to look out for their well-being. But
Yes.
material culture will change. People will get tattoos. People will wear trousers. People will get piercings, and then
Yes.
they will get over it. They will get over it.
Yes. Thank you, Victor. Thank you,
Yeah.
Victor.
Sorry, Jumoke, can I quickly chime in something in defense of us
Don't do that in
millennials
the
who
comment.
Victor has
Don't
accused
do 5
of
minutes
eventually
left.
growing up and getting to our 40s and
Yes.
seeming to comply with norms? I think there's something that happens with the passage of time and with age and with experience and certain things we start to learn. And you start to see that certain things that we wanted to do away with and we demonized and said they were bad things that our parents did and they didn't know better. We start to see the wisdom in some of these things. We start to see the reason why some of these things apply. So it's not as though you are beginning to comply with certain things. It's because with the passage of years and with the wisdom of years, certain things start to make sense to you. Will I wake up tomorrow and say, well, I will be a hypocrite tomorrow if my son decides that he wants to get his hair bleached or he wants to get a tattoo and the rest of the like. But now he has certain fashion sense that is beginning to make my brain to scratch. I'm like, will I give him the grace to grow and adjust into certain things and all what's not? But I see myself becoming like my mother. I'm holding myself back. Those are those things that I probably will not grind or grime about. But there's certain things that for instance, let me use one of the most controversial topics, right? We talk about, as we're getting older, we talk about things like the place of trad wives, trad husbands, the traditional roles in marriage.
Yes.
And I used to be quite stuck in my feminist thoughts about certain things. But now I've come to learn that, look, there's a room and there's a space for everybody. If you want to be trad wife your trad in your side. Don't come and trad it to me. So if you see me advocating for people who are trad wives, you can come back and say, Labake, what's wrong with you? Like, how did you change your thoughts? How are you not becoming compliant? How you say to somebody, it's okay for you to sit down at home and cook rice if you want to do, because I'm like, cook rice if you want to cook rice, because I've learned that there's certain wisdom in people fitting into traditional roles because that is where they naturally, that's where their strengths play into. And certain people going out, so that's me just saying, there's certain wisdom, like Dr. Gold will sometimes say there are some things that our parents, we say it's bad, but then you starting to learn that you say these things that you thought it was bad. It's not
really
altogether bad.
Yes,
you want to take some good out of it. That's
exactly.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Context, exactly.
Thank you so much. Nuance. Thank you so much, guys. No, but hold on. Hello, hold on. I'll come back to you. What I want to do is I want to go to Tammy, right? I want to ask Tammy because Tammy is very firmly Gen Z, being raised by a Gen X, millennial minded, and I have the privilege of being very close to Olajumoke Leo. She's open-minded in some ways, but she's very traditional Yoruba woman in other ways. And she's raising a son that is functioning firmly in this generation, and somehow he's able to snatch some parts of his autonomy and still be himself. Because I know if Jumoke Leo had her way, he'll probably be in a very flat, low cut, where he will now have parting by the side of his head. But here he is expressing himself with his haircut. Somehow he's maintained his identity. So, Tamara, please tell us a bit about just your journey in a world where you have most of the, should I say, gatekeepers of the stuff you want to do, being millennials, even older Gen Zs who maybe don't understand you. So what are you hoping that they understood more of and just gave you more freedoms around?
I would definitely say to experiment or try new things, because I think that no, I can't say for all of the millennials, but some of them, they try to like protect us Gen Z from like certain things because there's certain madness or things going around in the world, and I think that they try to hide us from doing certain things or trying to expose us to certain things. But like we also grew up with the internet, so we also see all these things that's happening. So having that together, we are able to try and gauge, okay, what's the right way to go about this, or what's the right way to behave and act, so that we can, stay in order. So I wish they just let us have more freedom to experience more things.
I love that. I love that. So basically, what you said, and let me say it you said it very respectfully. I will say it in the other version, is that we too, we have sense and we can see. So please stop, stop trying to head us like sheep around. We know enough now. And he said it very kindly, but when he said we have the internet, he's basically saying, see all these things you are saying, I probably even know more than you because I've researched it. I've seen it on some thread. I know more. What do you think It's okay. And I see it sometimes in my kids. I have two children, one 13, one 10. I'm saying some things, and in their mind, eyes you can see, and then my youngest one will ask me, that's the vocal one. He will ask me, where did you find out? Where did you find out this thing? So he's basically saying, look, we are processing things ourselves. Let us experience some of these things and come to the conclusions or the decisions by ourselves. And don't, I love that. Olajumoke Leo, for you, how has that been? Just seeing how different things are from when you were growing up and the landscape you have to raise, your boys now, and that just difference in generation. How have you navigated what Tammy has said, the balance between freedom and protection? Because there's some experiences you don't need to have. I already know where it's going. I already know where it's going. You don't need to have it. I can protect you from it. So how do you balance that? But they also say, let the child burn their hand. They will know not to go back there. But you're like, why? Why must they have that scar in the first instance? So please tell me about it.
Yes. Okay. So as an helicopter mom, which I would say
Yes.
anytime I'm not afraid or ashamed to
Yes, she is. She is.
I don't want the scar. I don't need you to get burnt. But along the line, I'm now learning that a little burn, a little scar, maybe it's good for the child. But for me, in my being very overprotective, why should you have this scar if I can tell you, don't go that route? You will get burned. So I'll just try and use a little analogy. He's preparing for his final year A-level exams, and he has a show today. And we had this discussion at the beginning of the year. We put all shows on hold till after A-levels. Now, your final exams, your timetable is out. You have May, you have June papers. He has a show today. And I said, no.
Tamilore is a DJ, by the
Yes,
way. I
he's a
mentioned
DJ.
that. He is
He's
a DJ. Yes.
He's a DJ and he plays, he goes for shows, he makes money. Now, I was 14 when I got my first admission to go to the university. And my mom said, no, I was just 14. I got my admission without begging for it. Now, this is a boy that said, I want to be a DJ in primary school. And we allowed him. And I said, you will do your music on one part, but you're going to learn. You're going to go to school. And so, I think tail end of secondary school, he got his, what do you call it, that table.
The turntable.
And that's it. And by what's December, 30 December, he had shows back to back to back to back. And mom had a show. Mom, I have a show. Somewhere in my mind, I am dying. Hey, Omo mio. Because I know what's going on out there. When you go for these shows, what they sneak into their hands, he comes back to tell me. Now, that's another thing that I learned along the line, that if you build trust, they would come to you. He said, Mom, guys will call me. What's that thing? Because what's the name of
I remember sometimes like something day, something day. Then my boy will say, I'm fine, I'm fine. Me say I don't day, so that they can leave him alone. And they are sneaking in small things into their hands, like Canada, Canada, Canada. And my son will just say, me too, I did. And then they'll leave him alone. So imagine not being able, that was how I learned the word kana. Imagine not coming to me and he's trying the kana motikuni yemen, you know? So if we build the
Yes.
trust, they would come. So I'm in that place where I'm like, you know what, child, tell me. Even the one I can't deal, I'll run to my support system. I'll come and cry. We'll talk about it. We will laugh. We will pray. We will talk. I'm able
Yes.
to exhale with my friends and say, Egbamio. Then they'll say, Jumoke, calm down. Labake once offered to drive my son to his show. Sit in the car. Wait till 2 a.m. to bring him back safely. It was a deal between staying with him and not going for that show. Milewaku. But look at me now, December, they are there. But every hour, Mom, my set is coming up. I'm done with my set. Mom, I'm done with my set. I'm calling my Uber. I'm home. So that responsibility, he built it, he gained the trust, and I had to let him. But the real me inside me, I don't want it. But now I don't have choice. So as the Gen X to millennial,
Yes.
and then having a son that he wants to do his thing, I'm learning to trust. The helicopter is still there; it cannot go away. But I'm learning to trust. I'm learning to let go. And then he's coming back to say, and then he'll tell me about the shows. What happened? How was your set? Oh, mom, they liked it. Oh, mom, I danced. Oh, mom, they danced. When it was my turn. So me too, I'm like, okay. Outwardly, I'm like, okay, good. In my mind, I'm
Inwardly,
like,
you are like,
guess
Jesus,
who?
Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
Because
I cover you with the blood of Jesus.
I don't know any other way, honestly. But really,
No, that's
I'm learning
amazing.
to also let go, trust him.
Yeah,
But then there's
trust
some
him.
things that I still want, tell me. And then I say, let's do it together this.
Yes, I like that. Accountability is built into the relationship, even if that's what you're saying, is that, I would give you freedom. We should give freedoms to the generation. And that's for those of us parents. Some of us are parents right now. We're raising kids we don't fully understand, right? And we will get to that point where they become old enough to start to express themselves in the ways that Tammy is doing right now. Like, look, this is what I want to do. But then from your experience, you know that clubs are not places for children of God to be. I talked about religion and just how religion has shaped what we believe is good for us and what is not good in the book. You're like, children of God are not supposed to be in club. Oh. But as this boy wants to DJ now, what should we do? So what do we do? So building in accountability into that relationship at least helps he's able to satisfy his ambition. She's also able to keep tabs on him in a way that, satisfies to a degree, her desire to have him safe. Cassandra, are you able to unmute? I know you are in the attendees bucket, but I gave you permission to unmute. I can't seem to add you to
Yes.
panelists. Oh, amazing.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Loud and clear. Thank you so much for being on the panel. So Cassandra is I know her.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. I was introduced to her. Oh, I know her from Ibukunlua, right? And I know, from the conversations Ibukun and I had, she said, look, if you want anybody who will tell you no holds bad, me and her, we think alike. We think alike. She's also a very, she's a career person. She's in marketing as well. Just like Ibukun is in marketing, I'm in marketing. So I know marketers are salespeople too. So on average, we can talk. Benjo is in marketing as well. We have plenty of marketing people on this call. Anyway, so what is that one thing that you think Gen X, millennial, we should go and sit down about, just briefly, so that we can wrap up the panel? Briefly, like, guys, just please go and sit down. I beg. I beg.
So that's a pretty good question, right? I would say that first of all, the way that I see things, it's very similar to how Ibukun sees things, right? Because we're Gen Zs that are at the very, we're the oldest Gen Zs basically, right? So there is that. And I am a Gen Z that is married to a millennial, so it's a very interesting mix here and there. the way that I was raised was pretty much is why I am the way that I am, right? I grew up with a mix of boomers. I grew up with my grandmother. So I grew up with boomers, Gen X, millennials. So my grandma, my mom, my uncles, a very, very sweet mix. And that has three different generations. It's either you pick one thing from everybody or you decide to be your own person. And I decided to be my own person. It's there was no in between. So I think that what makes us very different, across generations. I honestly don't think there's a lot of difference between women and Gen Zs. First of all, I'm just gonna put it out there. I don't think there's a huge difference, right? I really think that it's more of a personality thing. And the older you get, the more your ideas and opinions shapen. I don't think they change per se, but they shapen quite differently. Life experiences and stuff. I would, however, say that the difference would be in just doing things. I would say that most people my age just do things, and both good and bad, right? When something pops in your head, a business idea, we don't generally wait for permission to do those things. We don't seek validation from parents or siblings per se to get things done. You'll find out is if you're not what's the word, you're not uh fully happy about what I want to do, and I think it's a good thing. By the time it starts to do well, you'll be happy eventually. So I would say that we don't generally seek permission or validation. We just do things. Sometimes it's a good thing. Other times, well, it's not always the best route to go. I've done a lot of very brave things in my short lifetime, moving out of the family house, at 22 without telling anybody. I just paid for my rent and said, "Hey, I'm moving out next weekend, guys, and do that what you please." Because I knew that there was going to be a lot of holdback. Oh, don't move out. It's not time. You're still very young. You're a woman.
Yeah.
By the time I paid my rent, it was now okay. We put on the rent or what's it going to be? So
Yeah.
and a lot of the things that I have done after that, as my businesses, my career, I come from a very traditional background. Everyone, either works in the civil service or just there's a due process,
Yeah.
to do things. Someone that speaks to an uncle that helps you with one thing or the other, and then they call you for an interview. I just pop up and say, "Oh, I've gotten a new job. Oh, okay, I've left this old job. Oh, I don't come home to say, should I resign or should
Yes,
I
you
just
just
come with
did
news
it.
and say, this is what's happening now. Get to the program, get to the program or don't.
Yeah.
There is no in between.
That
So I will say that is the
let
thing.
me
And I think that is something that
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Please
a
finish
lot
that
of
thought.
older
Yes.
folks should
Yes.
imbibe,
Need to get
right?
with the
The part
program.
where
Yeah.
you really just do things. It's very easy for people to, to put doubt, seeds of doubt in your heart when you're on the right course. So I would say that something they need to do differently is not to always seek permission. Yes,
I
it's good
like
to
that.
have counsels, people that can advise you, but if you know truly that it's a good decision and you know in your gut that you should go for it,
Just do
stop
it.
seeking permission and validation from the whole world before you do things you ought to do.
I love that. Thank you so so much. Yes. Um it's here in the book, I think in chapter 1, Seth, about just permission seeking culture and how I've seen that, my generation, we overanalyze things. We're the first generation to fully experience the internet. You know that, right? We experience the internet. We're a little bit of both worlds. We've seen that world where our parents had steady careers. Your dad worked in one place for 35 years and retired and got a pension, right? But we're also straddling that world where we know for you to be able to advance in your career, you move every 2 years or every 2.5 years. Otherwise, ain't nobody promoting that level 17 officer, level 15 officer. You go and write the exam, you now pass to the next exam. We're not doing that. Do you get anymore? But I think all of that just swift movement in that same generation we've experienced so much. It's left us not fully able to trust our own instincts sometimes. So we overanalyze. What Cassandra has said about just do it. The Gen Z after us, they don't have all of that, they, nice. Oh yeah, sign me up. No, me, I will spend time. I will talk to my friends, then I will pray. We were the generation that will call pastor. We have pastors. We are even better now. But the Gen X's handed that thing over to us that you needed spiritual guidance. We are the generation that were obsessed about the will and purpose of God for our lives as younger people. If you were a Christian and you were a teenager 20, 25 years ago, you read Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren. You can't even tell me that you did not read it. And he left you with more questions than answers because and then fully Gen Z's don't obsess about a purpose for my life. No, this came up. I'm now a content creator. That's just it. Until he doesn't pay me anymore, and then I now write a tech certification, and that's now what I am. And then I'm now something else. I will feel so like whiplash, like, hey, am I in purpose like this? I've done 5 things, I'll feel so insecure in my ability to know what I should be doing part-time. But what Muyosori has basically said is we go with the flow. We go with the flow. We don't wait for anybody to validate or tell us you're on the right path. We're not looking for signals. Take decisions. And if it doesn't work, I pivot. So that flexibility, maybe we millennials need to do a bit better there. I can admit as well, but we obsess over things. Just, we don't want to, and because we saw our parents do the same. You can't make career mistakes there because who is employed? Your only good option was government work or the old banks then, Union Bank and Co. So you can't really, that was it. So, thank you so much. This panel, I know we can go on. Victor has dropped quite a few things. I'm going to the chat section now, but I'm going to wrap up the panel because as of now, we should be closing, but if you give me 30 more minutes, I promise we'll get there. We have just one more panel to go, and then we'll wrap up the conversation. I wanted to do 2 minutes of just reading what's in the chat. That chat has been explosive since. I feel like the chat is having its own webinar on its own, separately, because I don't know what's happening. The panelists are paneling there. Attendees are attending there. Everybody's engaging everybody. So I'm not even sure I can read everything, but I'm going to start from Victor did drop, a wrap-up point, which I think is very important. I think that's what he was trying to say when I moved to Tammy. Toby talks about her tattoos. Victor says, I agree with Omolabake. With age comes wisdom, and you change your mind and get less rebellious. He's saying he did things in his 20s that he wouldn't advise anybody to do now. But the mistake we make is that the same way we didn't see the wisdom in the advice we were giving then is the same way these younger people too feel. So we have to give grace for them to experience life and learn their own lessons while coming to their own conclusions. Shaki said, grace for them to experience life, but firm guidance is still needed. Yes. Candy says, I was going to say many parents. You see, parenting is another thing on its own. Like, I can't relate to being a helicopter parent, for example. Some of us are more motherly than others, and I think it's okay. So maybe we even need to have a whole seminar where mothers of different types sit down and validate each other. That it's okay if your kids are on holiday and you've not heard from them in 3 days and you didn't even remember that you're supposed to call them to say, how are you doing? Because they are safe, right? Sorry, somebody should validate me in the comments. Please tell me it's okay. Because yes, my kids are on holiday. They are that. I just remember that I've not spoken to them in 3 days. In 3 days. Meanwhile, there are some mothers who cannot sleep, cannot breathe, cannot eat if the live sharing and location of their child, they are not chatting with them constantly. I can't do that. Don't be clingy. Leave me alone. Live your life. You are fine. So I know I'm segueing, but maybe that's another conversation. Toby talks about when she has her tattoos. I don't know why tattoos are such a big deal here, because a lot of the rebellion we've talked about in this chat is tattoos and piercings. This is self-expression 101. You see culture, what culture has done to us. Just tattoos are now such a big topic. Our mothers, our grandmothers. Omolabake has this beautiful grandmother who is passed. Is she your great grandmother? She had this, tattoos with her identity, her name, on her body. It's now such a big deal. I blame Gen X's for this and boomers. Anyway, okay. So, Tammy, they're asking for your Spotify link if you have one. What's your DJ name? Is there anywhere where we could go experience your music? Please let us know. There's quite a number of comments asking for details just so that we can follow your music career. And we really love to do that. And then, of course, there's, chat just validating what everybody else is saying here. I'm going to read what Rachel has said here. Rachel said, but why do Gen Z think they invented rebellion? Torn jeans is wedges and oleku. DJ is acting and drama. True, in our own days, I want to go and be an actress was like telling your parents, you know what, I just want to go and start smoking igbo and just go and die. That was what they heard when you said, I want to become an actress. Kana is Ile Fela. Fela Shrine. That was where good children went to just perish. It was Fela Shrine, Africa Shrine then. Dreads is boys getting pierced ears. Yes. And SARS, June 12. We had our own June 12 as well. And for some reason, we've not been successful. I think maybe we need to all sit down and anyway, this is not a governmental rebellion conversation, so don't let me go there. Okay, so my children are dancing and singing. Hi, mommy, so you can dance. Me, that's Shaki. Shaki is like, our kids see her dancing and they are surprised. She's like, excuse me, when I was in the bottle, when I was Jane. Okay, so to wrap up this, I'm going to read one last comment I see here. Somebody says, I'm sorry, Angela, yes, says, I wish my siblings are here. The first three are between ages 35 and 42. They will bring big and not so big decisions to our siblings group, not necessarily for permission, but just to get objective opinion. The last two, ages 33 and 30, will just go ahead and do their thing and sometimes make not so good decisions. I could never understand why. So millennials, let me wrap up by saying this. We believe in the multitude of counsel, there is safety, such that we now paralyze ourselves with analysis. Gen Zs just do it. They do it, they iterate, and they pivot. They just, two-way door. I do it, it doesn't work, I come back. Hey, I want to go and get an apartment, I go and get it. After I pay the first year rent, mommy, second year rent, no deal, I'm coming back home. No shame. A millennial will die before they admit that I failed at adulting and I want to come back home. It's a disgrace. It's a shame. You can't do that. You will move in with your friend. You will beg. You will make it work. A Gen Z will say, well, it's not working again. No, I'm coming back home tomorrow. Please sweep the room. Finish. That's it. And you're supposed to take me back because what else will you do with me? So thank you so much, my panelists. I'm grateful. I'm going to read a short paragraph just as an interlude to the third panel, and that's it. We'll be done. And I will do my birthday toast. I have wine. So public drinking is some of what I want to do more of now that I'm old. So yeah, thanks. Okay, so I'm going to read a part of the book that's about relationships. And it's about dating. Quite a number of us, we're in different points in our relationship journey. And I'll call it relationship journey because not everybody wants to marry. That's a truth I'm also embracing now as, and that's something that I'm getting challenged on every day. Just that thinking that everybody must marry at some point, even if later in adulthood but at some point in my head I'm like, okay, even if you're 40 and you're not married now, you shall still marry at some point. It's a natural end. I'm starting to rethink that it's possible that's not the end for everybody, and that's okay. And it's okay. As much as I admit that I'm supposed to be very exposed, but I'm just beginning to admit to myself that it's not a natural conclusion for everybody, and it's okay. And it's okay. So I'm going to read from a portion in the book about relationships. It's in, to give me a second, this is social media is lying to you and you're lying back. I think it's page 160. Okay, great. I found it. So I'm going to read a section about in the book. It's on page 169. The chapter is, yes, thank you. The chapter is marriage, the fantasy versus the reality. Like I said, I've been married before. I was married one time. I got divorced, spent a bit of time on my own, got remarried, again. So, You will think that for somebody who's done it, who is doing it the second time, you are now an expert. It doesn't work like that. It's like you started again fresh. Every marriage is different. Okay, so this subtopic or this subsection in the book says, and I'll make it very brief. It says the big question: love, money, or both? When you talk about motivation to marry, let's talk about something people whisper about, but don't say out loud. What are you actually looking for in a spouse? Love, money, or both? This is uncomfortable because we are taught that admitting money matters makes us shallow. And this is for millennials. I don't think Gen Zs have this problem. That true love means finances are irrelevant. That if you consider someone's financial situation, you're a gold digger or materialistic or you are not genuine. But let's be real. Love without money is hard. Romantic love is beautiful. Chemistry is real. Connection matters. But try paying rent with chemistry. Try feeding your kids with connection. Try managing stress when you can't afford health care with just romance. Money doesn't buy happiness, but lack of money creates stress that kills relationships. Financial stress is one of the leading causes of divorce, not because people are shallow, but because constant worry about survival erodes everything. Patience, kindness, romance, peace, joy. When you are fighting about how to pay bills every month, it's hard to maintain emotional intimacy, which is the truth. When one person is resentful because they are carrying all the financial weight, it breeds bitterness. When you can't afford necessities, let alone any quality of life, love gets tested in brutal ways. So yes, financial compatibility matters. That doesn't mean you need to marry a millionaire. It means you need someone who has work ethic and can contribute financially, is financially responsible and not reckless with money, has similar financial values and goals, is honest about their financial situation, and is willing to work as a team on finances. I think Dr. Mutiat said something about that when she was talking about the relationship between herself and her husband. How, she wanted to plan 5 trips and he said, look, you don't have the pocket to do it. You can build well together over time. You can't build anything if one person is financially irresponsible or lazy or dishonest about money. Last thing, money without love is empty. So, and it goes on and on and on to then talk, about some things. But I wanted to spotlight that because I think it's an important conversation for my generation. Thinking proactively about, does this man, as a woman, does this man have money? As a man, does this woman have money? Just seem like something only a gold digger would do. You are supposed to think about, does the person love Jesus? Or is the person a devout, Muslim? Does the person, the person in-laws? You're not just supposed to think about money. It will sort itself out. But I wanted to address that in the relationships chapter. I'm going to go into the last panel now. Really excited about this because, and I left this for last because I thought it had the potential to help us kind of wrap up this conversation. It involves all of us. The conversation in this panel is about identity, expression, and permission to be. I remember, when we were talking, when we started, or during this program, I said something about how I'm now learning to accept myself, or accept my traits, neither as good nor bad. Sometimes it just is what it is. It's not good, it's not bad, it's what it is, and it's okay. It's all right. So, I'm going to introduce my panelists very quickly, and then we're going to get into it. And we have one, conversation. We want to explore about that time where you just thought to yourself, you know what? This is who I am, and that's it. Take it or leave it. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just, it is what it is. So I'll go quickly into my panelists. I'm going to start from Rachel Onomisi. I met Rachel on Facebook like I did most of my friends. Most of the people I know today, I met via social media. Her thoughts are very unapologetic. When she shares them, she's not a very post everyday kind of person. But when she does share, she's very unapologetic, very, this is who I am, very, take me as I am, very clear. I also like that she has clarity of thought. That's something I see when she speaks. She's very clear about her thoughts. She's processed it. She's not somebody that, she doesn't strike me as somebody who processes while they talk. And if you process while you talk, is okay. Again, it's not good enough, but it's just, that's also who you are. That's finish. Finish. You know, she seems very clear on who she is, what she wants, what she doesn't want, and she's unapologetic about it. Um, Myself and her were supposed to do a project together, which we are still going to do. We must do it by force. That's that analysis thing we talked about, millennials and analysis. We need to stop analyzing and just do it. Rachel, I'm grateful to have you on this panel. Thank you for joining. Really, really
Thank you
grateful.
very much for having me.
Thank
This
you.
it's a goons reunion. I've been saying this from the beginning.
I know you said so.
All my goons are here, so
See
I'm really
your
looking forward to
backdrop.
this.
Hey, Rachel is even launching the book more than the launcher of the book. I love it. It's amazing. I love it. Thank you so much. Okay, so I am introducing the ladies first, and I introduce the men. I'm going to Yemisi Sawyer. Yemisi, I met also on social media, and beyond social media, we've had personal interactions. I remember I visited the UK. I visited her. She's warm. She's amazing. She's an introvert that you don't ever really guess she's an introvert until you maybe meet her, and she tells us so, but we don't believe her until you actually meet her. She's sweet. She's somebody that is very grounded in her understanding of just who she is. And again, this panel comprises of I am who I am. That's who I am. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but that's your problem. That's your problem. It's not mine. So I've had conversations with Yemisi even outside of just social media banter, and we've developed, an easy friendship over time. She's one of those I know. If I ever need somebody I could talk to who won't judge me, who will just listen for what it is and say, look, this is what I think, she'll be that person. And I want to believe that she sees me as that person as well. Thank you, MEC, for joining this panel. I'm really grateful. Thank you for extroverting with your camera on. Because when I told her I want you to join this panel, MEC said, we will talk there. Will my camera be on? I want to do it, but we will talk. I say, yes, you will talk. That's what it's about.
Yeah, but let me just say, I'm super proud of you, by the way. And
thank you.
I had to go out of my way to do this because of how proud I am of you. And this book.
Yes, she has it. That's the book.
I have the book. I don't know what's there. Yeah, there we go.
Yes, it's it's the background. Yes.
I'm super proud of you. So yeah, I had to be here.
Shaki has her copy. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. Thank you so much, MC. So I'm going to go to Dr. Shakirat Gold Olufade. Dr. Shakirat Gold Olufade is a clinician, and should I read like you? Shaki is one of my absolute best friends. I met Shaki through Labake. So whoever I did not meet via social media, I met them through Labake. Labake is the source of quality friendships in my life. I won't even just lie. Labake has a knack for saying, you and this person, you are very alike. I think you guys will be friends, And then, of course, I know Shaki to be conservative. She's conservative. She's a devout Muslim. She's opinionated in a way I don't know Muslim women to be. She's also very grounded. Yes, it's true. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to, I'm just saying, you're a very, this is who I am. This is it. This is it. You are not let me be quiet and not talk because I'm not supposed to talk. No, she has an amazing career. She's many, many things that I want to be when I grow up. Roll your eyes. Roll your eyes. She's an amazing person all around, and she's one of my absolute best friends. Shaki is someone I know that I can, again, this panel, and it's not cliche. I can message, I can call her, I can talk to her, and I will not get any judgment. She will give it to me as is. Then 2 days later, she'll be like, oh, crazy go. Oh, crazy go. When the thing has passed. Oh, crazy go. But so I love you, Shaki. Thank you so much for joining. And I know it's quite early on your end, but you made it here. Thank you. I'm grateful.
Thank you for having me, Olajumoke. And first, I'd like to say that I know you've said it already, and this is my time. And I know Labake will be like, oh my gosh, just shut up your mouth.
Shut.
But this is the time I'd like to say Omolabake Bode Matthew was born to be a builder.
Oh, yes.
So almost everybody that is a friend.
Yes.
Yes. So I remember I met Jumoke on social media. We were just friends. And I would just carry my nose like, "Kí ló máa ń ṣe eléyìí náà?" Then there was a time I passed by her,
Let's be
like I was driving.
translating for
She was
our
she
foreign
was
audience.
driving. Yeah, so when I say kilo manchele, meaning that, why she's
Why is she
always
acting
uppity
like
and all of
this?
that. So and I told her, okay, I saw your friend, though, just always being. And okay, so at the end of the day, Jumoke was looking at me that this one is too serious. Labake
Yes.
was like, you like Shakira, she's not that serious. So, and so we're all looking at ourselves. And then we met. And I think Jumoke and I, we are more alike than, in so
Very,
many
very
ways.
alike.
So
Very,
I'm
very
very
alike.
happy that I'm here today.
Yes. Thank you
And
so much.
Rachel, Yemisi, all the people here, they are my peeps. And I
Yes.
love them,
I know. Thank
So
you
I'm
so
glad to be
much.
here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to introduce the men now. I'm going to start with Olajumoke Adeniro. Olajumoke and I met on the panel of another. Olajumoke, remember, Abby? We met on a panel.
Yes, I do.
It was a physical event, And then, as usual, so what had happened was when I got the invite, to come be on the panel of this event, and I said, okay, who are my co-panelists? So I know kind of how we are going to do it. So I went and I researched him. I was like, see the profile. I'm not going to go into it now so that we don't all now share my intimidation. But I was like, what am I now going to say here like this? And then, as most millennials do, because we do that in a lot, we are self-deprecating often to the point of not realizing that you are in the room because you deserve to be in the room. Nobody hands anybody anything for free. If they called you, it's because you are supposed to be there, So we got there and he was just very down to earth, and we struck off an easy, friendship. We exchanged numbers and then we would tease each other. Sometimes we message, hey, my boss, my guy, and then we just banter. And professionally, he's somebody I know at any point in time I can go to and say, hey, Binjo, there's this nut I need to crack, what do you think? Because I know he's probably done it before. He's founded businesses. Yes, it's true. He's founded businesses. He does marketing on a global scale. Really happy to have you here, Olajumoke. You're unapologetically yourself.
Thank you so much.
And you've been
I
so
think it's
for a
really
while.
funny that like you felt somehow when you saw me on the panel, because that's the same way I felt. When I Googled everyone on the panel, I was like,
You
it's
see,
the same mistake.
You see this life? You see this life now? You guys know, let me just not even go there. You guys know it's Future Africa now. I be Olajumoke. Is it not Future Africa?
Yes, I used to be at Future Africa.
You used to be, or you were one of the founders? Thanks. It's one of the founders. Say you used to be. He used to be. Thank you. And that's the thing. We are very millennials. We don't used to. Gen Z will say, so when I like, guy, go and sit down. Go and sit down. I'm sorry, Gen Zs. Please don't unmute. Please mute the Gen Zs on the call. Thanks. Okay. Last but definitely not the least, I'm going to introduce Shaya Luke, and I've spent time introducing, but it's important that we know, and then this is the last conversation of this call, so please bear with me. Shayo, it's amazing to have you. Shayo, I don't have a personal relationship with, but I have personal relationships with people who know Shayo. And what I've heard about Shayo is a he's a down-to-earth friend when you need somebody to have your back, when you need somebody to kind of understand where you are coming from and advocate for you. The testimony I've heard of him, and I know him from social media, so it's not like we're not friends at all. We are friends on social media. I've seen Shayo be the dissenting voice in conversations where really you are not sure you want to be a dissenting voice because you don't want, sometimes I would rather step away from conflict and not, but he will say his own. If you like, now agree. If you like, don't agree. That's now your problem. That's your problem. But I will say my own. If I see that, things are not, that conversation is just not right, I will walk away. He will say, at least I'll drop my point. You guys can agree or not or disagree, But I'd love that about him. It's what I wish I did more of. I know he said he's working on a project as well, and it has a very funny title. I'll let him share it if he wants to. If he wants to. He's working on a book. Sure, it's a book now, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to
Yeah,
tell
it
us yet.
is. It
You are
is.
keeping it to your chest.
And yeah, very soon. Very
Okay.
soon.
Okay, great. Do not tell us yet.
I might be ready very soon.
That's
It's gonna
fine.
be out
That's
soon.
fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. Okay, so guys, let's dive into the
I'm
panel.
yeah. Thank you for having me
Oh,
too.
you're
Thank you so
welcome.
much for having me. And I'm very, very proud of you.
Oh,
Trust
thank you
me,
so
I've said
much.
this to you in private, but like this is amazing, very
That's
relatable thing you've done, and it's just I'm not surprised the caliber of people here to talk
What?
about it, and
Okay, no,
I
I
see it
forgot.
going far.
Yes.
So well done, well
Yes.
done.
Thank you so much. Have you unmuted me? Thank you. I
Oh, yeah.
missed out on one of my panelists. I'm not even sure what kind of fine I'm going to pay. Eketi Edima Ete. Yes, Rachel is shocked on my behalf, right? Because in my head, I was like, I've not finished introducing everybody. Who did I miss? Who did I miss out on? And then, because I was supposed to introduce the women first. Eketi, are you there? What should I do? Which fine should I find myself now? Looking for how to find myself. Eketi is she's somebody I know from social media as well. I know her and I love her from afar and from close because Eketi is unapologetically who she is. And I think even for the panel, we're going to, start from you. You're unapologetically who she is. You share things, that my sense of you is you come from a largely just traditional background. You share deeply your love for your parents. You talk about them a lot, and I can sense that you come from a deeply just regular traditional Nigerian home, where there's love, there's expectations, and all. And somehow you're navigating life on your own terms, you know, loudly. You are expressing yourself in ways that especially around themes with expectations around women, marriage, and a career. You are unapologetically who you are. There have been conversations around feminism, just all kinds of things. I've seen you express yourself unapologetic, and I keep saying that because everybody on this panel represents something that I wish I was a bit more of. That's why we're here. So, Eketi, I'm going to start with you. Was there a point? Was there a defining part or defining point in your life, and as briefly as you can, where you just kind of shifted and said, "Look, this is who I am. You take it, you leave it, whatever is your business." Or is that still evolving for you? Or was there a defining time? What was that like? That self-awakening?
Okay, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. So many of my favorite people on this panel and in the audience. Your book, honestly, congratulations. I'm always excited when someone wakes up and decides, hey, I have a story to tell and I'm going to tell it. And so I'm super, super proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay, without much defining moments. I think I would say two defining moments. The first one was I was a child at that time. I think I was probably maybe 12 or 13. I can't remember exactly. But I had grown up being this person whom my parents, my dad especially, referred to me as a tomboy. At the time, I didn't know what a tomboy meant. I just know that that's what I was called, and it was probably because I was a handful. And so one of those days, I had climbed a palm tree because I saw the man who used to come and harvest our palm fruits, climb it. And I wanted to, and I asked him if I could. And he said, no, I couldn't. And one of the reasons he gave me for why I couldn't was because I was a girl, that girls don't climb trees. And I was so upset. I knew that this was something I wanted to do and that this was something I could do if I put my mind to it. And so when everybody went away, I got the rope and I climbed the tree. And my father came home from somewhere and he walked into the farm and he saw me on the tree. And I remember him just saying, like he said to himself, I can't shout. If I shout, she will fall. And I'm like, why is he saying, why is he saying this thing? And he's like, oh, calm down, calm down. No, don't. It's not that I'm not angry. I just wanted to calm down. I want to talk to you about something. And so I came down. And when I came down, my dad, just lost it. Like, what is your problem? Why are you always doing these strange things? This is something that your
Strange
brother
things.
should do, but your brother is not doing. You're the one who's climbing trees. I remember just thinking to myself, but I want to climb trees. But I love climbing trees. This is who I am, and I don't care if I'm a girl or whatever. I want to climb trees, and being told that I couldn't do it felt like I was being cheated out of something really huge, and I was so upset. That was my very first moment. My second moment came many years later. At that time, I had become properly indoctrinated into what a woman should be like. So I was that first child that everybody kept saying, but you don't act like a first child, but you're so reckless, but you're so adventurous, you're so this. And so by the time I got to the university, I had become a proper people pleaser. That my neighbors would send me on errands. Oh, go to the market and shop for me. We're all students so in the university, but I was cooking, I was fetching water, and it didn't help that they purposely pronounced my name as a kaite and viewed me and used me as a maid. And so I was in that place until one particular day. Sorry, I'm just remembering. The memories are coming.
Oh, yeah, please.
Got into trouble. When you become a people's pleaser, what you don't know, you think you want people to like you. You think you don't want to get into trouble. What you don't know is that you're eroding your defenses and opening yourself to unimaginable danger. And so that particular day, this former friend of mine, asked me to accompany her to see a man. And this man was a married man, and I knew better than to go. But I didn't want her to be upset, so I went with her. And she said the man promised to give her money, but he wasn't going to let go of the money easily. She needed a ruse to get the man to give her money. So she was going to make me part of that ruse, part of that plan, that scheme. So I said, okay. And we got there, pretended that she had gotten a call from a cousin of hers and needed to leave. And then she used that to take money from the man. And the man was like, oh no, go and bring your cousin. And she said, okay, now the plan had, gone awry.
Yeah.
So she was like, do it. So I said, okay, I will join you. And she said, no, go back and stay with Chief. I'll soon be back, pretend I've gone and come back, So the man insisted his driver should take her. So the driver took her, and I was left with that man. And that man almost raped me. I remember sitting there, crying, thinking, what is it that these people that I have broken my back for have offered me except danger after danger, insult after insult, disregard after disregard? I'm seated here in this room with this strange man with two guards at the door who could do something to me and nobody would be able to intervene. And I will say that because of what? And that moment was a turning point moment for me. It was that place where that moment where I sat and I said, you will die. Like Eketi, die. And you will get to heaven and God will ask you, what did you do in your life with your life? And you say, I was making people like me. I was trying not to upset anybody. And that was when I said, I will upset the world. As long as it keeps me. I will upset the universe as long as I am happy. I will burn everything as long as I never have to find myself in this situation where a man has his hand around my throat and I'm pinned to the wall and I'm nearly cheating my and all I can do is say, please, sir, don't hurt me. That was my moment. And that grew, I kept evolving. Every moment that I was terrified of saying no, every moment I was terrified of saying, I don't want to do this, I will remember that man's on my neck. And I will say, Eketi, we will burn down the world, but we'll never find ourselves in that place again.
That's amazing. Okay, so that's amazing. That's amazing. That's a big defining moment. It's one you can't forget. There's a part of me that thinks maybe that big moment, it's unfortunate, but that you needed that big moment to happen somehow to snatch you from the jaws of where you were. I'm going to ask Olabenjo, for a man. So it's a man's world. It's a man's world. We get kind of convinced that men come born with a sense of identity of who they are. Just knowing that you are a man. That's just enough first. Do you get? You can first chill. That just knowing that I'm a man. No, there's certain parts of my identity that is secure. Is that true? Is that true? Is that true? Do men struggle with a sense of just identity? And I know the answer is yes, but we don't see it that way sometimes. I feel like it seems like women, or is it that we're more vocal? But what is that like for a man? Identity, expression, just permission to be who you are, because we feel like men are more able to say, whoa, this is what I'll take, this is what I won't take. But you do that as a woman and then, husband will not marry you. You will not have friends. Your in-laws will not like you. For a man, what's that like?
I think there's definitely that. There's definitely I won't take this because of how society views men or how society respects men above women. But I also think that men also, especially in today's time, men also struggle with their sense of identity and they tend to seek validation from other men. So for me, I've been very lucky that my parents raised me to be a very self-confident person. So I've never really tried to be cool to anybody else, regardless of who they were. But I have friends and I have families, I have cousins, and I've seen people try to be cool. And it's like, you don't even like this thing. Like, and I'll give one simple example. I'll give one simple example. So I grew up watching football I used to watch football with my dad a lot. And I was a fan of Manchester United. One year, Manchester United did not win the EPL, and I think they lost the Champions League. And I never watched football ever again.
Oh my God.
And for me, it was just like, this is a waste of my time and my energy. And so I stopped, and I was maybe 15 or 16 years old then. And I've never gone back to watching any football. I quite literally live beside the stadium. I've never been there. I don't watch football. I don't watch any sports anymore. But for many people, and for my dad found it weird when I was approaching my 20s. And it was like, oh, when he goes to his friend's house, all of their boys are watching football with his friends. I'm the only one that doesn't watch football. And I kind of felt bad. And so I started watching some matches with my
him.
dad. But for me, it was like, it's just a sport. It's not that deep. But for some people, that is their identity. Some people see life through the lens of being an Arsenal fan.
Yes.
Which is a loser life. But unfortunately, that is what it is. So I think for me, when I have conversations with my friends, what we talk about a lot is, what does it mean to be a man? What have we been told that it means to be a man? And how do we detach ourselves from some of the things that we have been taught and we have been told, without detaching ourselves completely? So for me, I've obviously detached myself from sports, but I have not detached myself from things I like and communities that I belong to, right? Where men hang out, or we gather, or we talk, or we just, right? And so I think the general thing is people tend to be more extreme about these things. But for me, I try to be a little bit more centrist about it, and I try to be a little bit more rational, I think, than most people.
I like that, rational.
So me, I don't have any. I'm not a fan of anybody that I'm going to kill myself over.
Nothing
Again,
outside of you defines you.
Like, this is my parents' fault.
Yes.
This is not me. This is not my fault. It's not my fault at all.
Got it.
So I'm not going to be a fan of somebody that something will happen and then I'll carry chair because they lost a match. You'll never see me do that. But I do think that it's important for men to have a sense of identity, and sometimes it is through things like sports. But other times, I think society gets very drastic where certain men or many groups of men find their identity as people who control women. And that's where there's a problem. Right? Which you kind of talked about. That's where there's a problem where the only thing, you're a man, you have a Twitter handle, and the only thing you talk about is all the bad things that women are doing. It's weird. And I'm the kind of person that's going to tell, if I meet somebody, if I meet a younger person, I'm going to tell them that this is weird, my
I
bro.
know.
This is not cool.
That's why you're this
You're
panel.
lame. You're lame to all the other men. People don't think
Yeah.
of you as a cool guy, right? Why not find some hobbies and some interests?
Yeah.
And things that
Yeah.
things that are actually beneficial and positive, right? So that's the general. I think the general
Yeah.
challenge is there's lots of middle ground, but there's also lots of extremities. And on the internet, we tend to see the extremities. And I'll give another example. In my honest opinion, first time I ever saw Andrew Tate on the internet, I'm like, firstly, this guy is not cool. There's nothing cool about
There's
him.
nothing
Doesn't
cool.
dress well. Doesn't seem like a life admirable to follow. So I never really understood why lots of young men
We're following
would
him.
follow him.
Yeah.
And then I talked to a friend about it, and he was like, well, the challenge is that this thing is not that it's not cool, it's that it seems interesting. A normal, like this, my friend, we have like very similar uncles, we live in the same community growing up. A normal uncle that grew up in our streets that has his 9 to 5 or his civil service job is unfortunately not that interesting to any young person today. But it is admirable to us because, well, we did not see these kind of things when we were growing up. And so that's the general challenge I think that men face today. That there's a lot of extremities, there's a lot of extreme people in public, and they seem to be getting away with it. And society seems to reward them in terms of status, in terms of attention. And the normal person that is just living his own life, that has a normal, the normal uncle that has a YouTube channel with his family and they laugh and they play, he's not going to get 1 million views.
Yeah.
And so that's the world that we live in, unfortunately.
I know. You've said some really important things, and I would extract from it and then kind of expand the question a bit further, as I go on to ask Dr. Gold, Dr. Shakirat Gold Olufadi. Okay, great. So society and culture, and sometimes external factors external to us, we see shapes I don't think there's anyone immune to having parts of the culture and the society around them seep into them to form and shape who they are. In fact, that's mostly, we are who we are sometimes because of where we were born, parents we were born to, the religion, we were born into, all of that. So factors outside of us already kind of predetermine who we will be to a large extent. Some of us then get the privilege and the permission to start to change it as we grow older. What parts have you found, in your, and I know you had a very interesting upbringing with very, very forward-thinking, very exposed parents. So I'm going to ask you, as a woman, Muslim, just different. And I mention it specifically because in the society we live in, there's context you get to that. But somehow you are on screen with your red ruby woo lipstick, red ruby woo lipstick, batting your eyelids, freely living your life. So what parts of just society, tradition and was it an intentional work to shed away that, don't put this toga on me, this is not who I am. This is who I am. You take it, you like it, great. You don't like it, also great, but get out. So please tell me about that. You are muted. Are you muted? You are muted.
I am muted.
Yes,
I've
yes, I
unmuted
can hear you
myself
now.
now. I like the way you asked the question, especially because you put it all together. And I like the kind of panelists you have, people that will not get offended because you are saying, as a Muslim woman, because I think that everyone that knows me, I think I'm very similar to Mutiat online. Like, I look like the kind of person that you say nonsense, I will spank you, wajegba, or that kind of thing. So I know that my persona online appears a bit, don't go near this person, she's kind of strict. And I am very unapologetic about being strict. My siblings call me like Wicked Witch of the West. I'm very fine with it. It's something that I've always had. And it's a firstborn thing. So I think I write poems to myself at times, like unapologetically me. You don't like me, I am not money. It's not even about jollof rice. Jollof rice, you might not like, but everyone likes money. So you don't like me, that's your personal problem. I think what has my sibling is here, the one just immediately after me. And he would say it. The reason why I am the way I am, I think a lot of people misunderstand spirituality. I was born Muslim. But I am over 40 now. I choose to be Muslim. And that means that I understand my religion. And so there are a lot of people that they come to me and they're like, oh, Shaki, you are Muslim, you are doing this. The first thing to understand about spirituality is that it is a relationship between you and God, not between you and Afat Taju, not between you and Afat Sulaiman, not between you. There should be no, like, when you are talking to God, it is between you and God. And one of the first names of God in Islam for me is that He is the most beneficent, the most merciful. So I think people have this way of describing God as, oh my God, you do something, He's going to punish you. And in Islam, it says that my mercy is so much more than my wrath. Because at the end of the day, if you have God as somebody that all about Him is, oh, do what you like, you can do anything, that means that you'll be unhinged. You just continue to do anything you like. So, like I always tell people, I will tell you, do what you like. But remember that for everything, there are consequences. You are supposed to read for an exam, you don't read, you fail the exam. Like there's no there's no two ways about it. I've always been, and I think the only thing is that, and I'll say that the main thing that made me like this is that I was born to parents, like Jumoke said, that understand religion, especially my dad. I am I had him for a few, I lost him as a teenager. He died when I was a teenager. But I will say it again and again and again. The greatest blessing of my life are the parents that gave birth to me. So let me give you an example. My middle name or my Oriki, that's in Yoruba, people have the name, I don't know, whatever it's called. So I am Ajoke, and my first name is Shakirat. The meaning of Shakirat means Andupe, giving thanks. Shukran, thanks. So when my dad, when they had me, it was more of thankful. They were very thankful. And unlike the typical, Gen X, my dad wanted one child. And they gave birth to a female, and my dad told my mom that Wassalamu ala limuri Selim, which means that that's it. We're closing. That's it. And my mom wanted 5 children. Now imagine somebody that wanted 1 and 5. Where do you meet in the middle? No way. So my dad wanted just me. And then he raised me. Ajoke means that everybody wants to take care of me. And my dad made me feel like the best thing since sliced bread. So when I'm coming, he can be like, Ajoke niye, Omo Idrisa, Aberini. Like he's hailing me. And then I was the best student in my primary school. Like guys came to, toast me like years after
Yes, we
because of how
we
they,
heard about
oh, shut up,
we heard
please,
about that.
in primary school. But what I'm trying to
So you are
say at the
still
end of the
doing
day,
that now.
is it nature? Is it nurture?
Is it nurture?
I am a firm believer in it is both of them. It is not nature. So don't get shackled to a mad person and think that you can nurture the madness away. You can nurture it, but it will take time. The kind of work you would have to do to nurture the insanity away. And I had somebody telling me recently that we're about to get married. Oh, the person left my sister at the altar. No, like this guy canceled the venue and did not tell his bride that he was not doing it again. Like a
Okay.
proper mad person. And then she was telling me 2 days ago, and I told her that see, it's gonna be 14 years married for me. And I will tell you, love is never enough. Anybody that tells you that love is the only thing that sustains a relationship, they are talking
They
in the
lied.
nonsense.
Yeah, they lied.
They lie. They lie.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I told her, anybody that can do that is a mad person. If they are that cowardly, they cannot tell you that I am not doing again, and then they cancelled. So at the end of the day, nature is very important.
Yeah.
Ask questions. Are you mad sometimes? Are you mad most of the time? Are you occasionally mad? Are you consistently mad? You try and find out. And then when you now see it, is your madness something that can be managed?
That
And I'm
can
talking to
be
both the men and
cured.
the women. Can it be
Thank you.
cured? Can it be managed? Can you,
Thank
manage
you.
it? Because everybody, you should have a bit of madness in you, which means that you should have the ability to change it for people.
Thank
So
you.
I am a very serious person. But no, occasionally, like
Yeah.
when I say mad, like don't think that Dr. Gold is Dr. Gold. When I change it for you, you will really not like me. And so my dad was the kind of person that would tell you that he will meet on Judgment Day. Please do not greet me again. So that kind of thing.
Thank
So
you.
I feel that for me,
Yeah.
whenever you want to, it's nature versus nurture.
Thank
Nature
you.
versus nurture.
Thank you so much. I love that. Nature and nurture. Rachel, I'm going to ask you. Nature versus nurture for you, which do you think played the biggest part in just your establishment of who you are and your expression Do you think both contributed equally? Or you know what, that nature was not even there. I nurtured myself from the get-go. So as briefly as you can, but give us all the meat too. All the meats, but very concisely packaged. Thank you. Nature versus nurture. I think that's which is the biggest player for you.
I think it's definitely nurture, but I also see things in siblings that I didn't necessarily grow up with that makes me think, oh no, this thing is actually genetic. Oh, I thought this was me. Oh, snap, we are all actually like this, as Dr. Gold would say, occasionally mad. So, one of my I had several memories, but one of the things I did as a young child, I was probably about 7, is I got on a flight by myself from Nigeria to Ireland, and that was because I wanted to. Let's put it that way. So I was supposed to go live with my uncle and my auntie, and I was supposed to go with my great aunt. So further down the line, my dad calls me and says, "Oh, I'm really sorry, Auntie Gloria's visa wasn't approved." I was like, "Oh, hey, yeah, bless her. So what will she do now?" Now says, "Oh, yeah, that she'll have to reapply, but, I'm really sorry. That means you're not going to go." And this is my dad telling me the story, because obviously I was 7 at the time. And then my dad tells me that I said, "Why? There's nothing wrong with my visa. Maybe you said it's Auntie Gloria's visa that wasn't approved. What's that got to do with me?"
Was approved.
So my dad was like, sorry?
No, I said my own was approved. You just kind of thought
approved.
like.
So my dad was like, but you can't go on your own. How are you going to do it? I said, "Daddy, I've said goodbye to all my friends in school. I know for a fact you don't think I will now, me that I've said goodbye, will go back and say
On
good morning.
Monday.
That's not going to happen. So I'm going. Auntie Gloria should sort out whatever issue she has with British Embassy. I'm not among. I am not the person that did this thing to her and all of that." Anyway, so at some point, my dad took me to the airport. And I don't know if you, Murtala Mohammed, at the time, I'm not sure if that vista still exists, but there was this huge glass panel where you could see the planes, right? Landing and taking off. So you could actually see out over the runway. And so my dad took me there because he had the brilliant idea that that would scare me. And he was like, so these big, big planes, you're going to be the only person. How are you going to do it? It's nobody there. How are you not going to be scared? Don't you think you should wait until we find someone that can take you? Well, look at that plane. That one alone. It's like bigger than a house and all of this. And then, according to him, he said, I thought about it for a while. And then I said, yeah, it looks really big and it looks really scary. But I think if I have my teddy bear and if you can add like 1 packet of TUC biscuit, I think we can rough it. So my dad went home and told my mother, I've done everything. This girl said she's going. I don't know how we're going to do this. And that's that. So that happened. And I went with my TUC biscuits and my teddy bear, and we got on the plane together. And it wasn't even a direct flight. So I was going to Dublin. So it was one flight to Heathrow. And then I got handed over to a whole different set. I mean, they don't do that anymore, but I got handed over to a whole different set of air stewardesses for a flight to Dublin. So that's the first big thing in my life. When I finished uni, I was already starting to think about, so I have 4 older brothers and I'm the first girl out of 7. My dad took family planning very seriously. We're 4 boys and then 3 girls, and I'm the first girl, even though I'm number 5. So I feel very much like the oldest. I feel very much like the mummy in the house. And I was very clear to myself that I will leave the second I can, the second I get a chance, the second I, I should say there was a point in this that we came back to Nigeria. Yes. So we came back to Nigeria and it was time for me to pick unis. And I was very clear in my mind that I didn't want to go to University of Lagos because my parents are there and I didn't want the helicopter. I didn't want my mom popping in every weekend. I didn't want to go to University of Ibadan because my 3 brothers were there and ew. So it was very clear in my mind that I wanted to go to Ife because, first of all, I really didn't have family there, but also because I had a challenge to myself that I wanted to learn Yoruba. Because up until this point, I previously used to be able to speak Yoruba, And then I had a trauma event that made me stop speaking it. I wouldn't speak it for any reason. And then it's like a muscle, right? So you lose it.
once
And
you
that's why I
lose it
found out
and
that
it's
I just
gone.
couldn't speak it
Yeah.
anymore. So I was clearing my mind. Maybe they say it's the birthplace of Yoruba land. I don't know. Let's go to the
Ile-Ife.
birthplace of Yoruba land to learn Yoruba more. So I don't have any family there. Let's do that. So for my JAMB, I filled in OAU, first choice, second choice. And my mom was like, who? Okay, so now that you have eliminated all the other schools in the world now, what is the name of this thing? I was like, yeah, so that means I have to get into OAU. That's what I
Okay.
want to do. That's where I want to go.
Yeah.
So I did. My Yoruba education took a bit more work. I've boosted it with Yoruba Nollywood. So I say that to say I only know how to swear for people very well in Yoruba. That bit I've learned very well.
I hear some themes here. If I could jump, I hear some themes here. I hear a lot of there's nurture. Except you tell me there are some of your other siblings that are also like this. But it sounds to me like from 7, you yourself, there's a bit of nature at play where you seem to have been already born with this personality that, look, I know what I want to do, except you give me a good reason. And I've not yet seen the reason. All these things you are telling me is not a good enough reason. I'm self-assured enough to know, let me take a stab at what I want to do. And please leave me while I do it. But then I also hear some bit of nurture because your parents were in, you cannot have some conversations in some homes. You only knew you were moving houses in some homes growing up when daddy and mommy woke you up in the morning and said, oh yeah, pack your bag. Where are we going? What kind of stupid question is that? My friend, will you pack your bag and pack it and let's go? We had polygamous homes in our generation, Rachel, where the new wife got introduced to you in the morning. You didn't know who she was. Oh yeah, kneel down and greet her. This is your new mommy. Greet her. And all of you, otherwise you knew school fees was going to stop. And you found your mom too, say, welcome, oh, it is well with you. And she enters her room and cries in private. Right? So I see a big mix of, do you kind of feel like you had parents who, and as very briefly, maybe one line if you can, do you feel like you had parents who kind of thought, okay, you see this Rachel, we can't really stop her, so let her just do it? Was that a thing?
I think it was a double-edged sword. For many years, I used to, congratulate my parents on this liberal upbringing, on this, let her discover herself, let her be whatever she wants to be. And then over the years, it's a little too lax because luckily the decisions I made were good decisions for me.
Yeah.
Who will ever know if they were the best decisions? But to let a child just dictate the pace of her own life, okay, she says she wants to go. We've tried to dissuade her. She still says she wants to go. I say that to say a lot of the discipline, a lot of the structure, a lot of the pillars in my life that made who I am, I raised myself, put it that way. I was always under the coverage of a parent, but I definitely raised myself in terms of what is right, when to do it, how to do it, you know, what are the consequences of this thing if you do it like this or if you don't do it like that. I wonder if there is a happy medium. I've heard Olajumoke speak about her parenting style. I've also heard Dr. Gold and a few other people say here. I wonder what our children will say. And, you know, parenting is a thankless job. No matter how you do it, your child is going to think they could have done it better. We're all Kukuma here. Everybody is born in. We will see the end result. But I definitely feel like I am a work in progress of my own modular assembly. So it's like a Lego. I put a bit of this, I put a bit of that. I take out a bit
building
of this,
the
I
blocks.
take this.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've said quite a number of things. Yemisi, I want to ask you.
Yep.
Do you feel like you are still raising yourself? I know you're in your 40s, right? Are you still, would you say, at what point does one kind of feel like, yes, I've now arrived at my identity, my expression, my permission, this is who I am. But do you still feel like that? You're already shaking your head.
I don't think that I honestly, I mean, just based on
Yeah.
I'm not just in my 40s, I'm almost 50.
Yes.
So that's a whole like separate conversation. But I don't think you ever get to that point, at least based on what I know from myself and my
Yes,
life
of
now.
course.
Rachel's experience is actually the complete opposite of mine. I was very, very, raised in a very structured kind of like environment, right? I would say even like very regimented, almost too strict. And in my own just personal experience, just growing up as a child, I was always a bit of a weirdo, always a bit of an unconventional, eccentric um, kind of person. And of course, I didn't fit the mold of what a traditional woman in our Niger setting is like.
Yes, look
I
like.
didn't like to cook. I didn't like to sew. I was not interested in, any of the conventional things that, a girl should be interested in. And I had sisters who were. So I got compared to them all the time. As see your sister. Why can't you be more like her? Kind of thing. So I went through a very long period in my life of trying to conform. So when Eketi talked about people pleasing and sort of trying to fit yourself into a mold, it took me a very, very long time to go out of that. And I love the fact that this is coinciding with your 40th birthday because honestly, I would say is when I turned 40 that I really started to transform into the person that I am right now. Because I'm not transformed, but like go back to, I think, what my original style of person was, right? I was very extroverted as a child, and then throughout the course of my life became very introverted, and and all of these sorts of things. And then I just started to I hit 40 and I was like, you know what? You can actually just say no. You can actually
Yeah.
create
Nothing will
boundaries,
happen. You want to
and
beat me?
absolutely nothing is
You want
going
to
to happen.
beat me?
Nothing. Especially with it's particularly difficult with family as well. With outsiders, maybe not so much, but with family, right? Parents, siblings, etc. Being able to just draw that boundary and say, I'm not going to do this. I'm not giving an excuse. I'm not available.
Yeah.
I'm not available
That's
for whatever it
amazing.
is that you want to do.
Yeah.
I don't feel like doing it. You know what I mean? All of
Yeah.
those sorts of things. I mean, I started getting tattoos actually the year I turned 40. And I have a couple of them now.
Bad
And I
game.
plan to get more, for example. And just in general, just being the going back to the eccentric person that I am. I love cartoons. I wear, clothes that have like bunny ears, and my toothbrush has, it's a
Oh, I
squishmallow
love it.
toothbrush. Those sorts of things. I'm a very eccentric person. And it was getting to that age of 40 that just made me realize, how long are you going to spend time being this inauthentic version of yourself? How?
Yeah.
How
True.
long?
True.
So I
True.
don't think you ever get to the point where you become this finished product of a person. For me, I'm still very, very much evolving.
Yeah.
Very, very much evolving and becoming even less serious, I would say, as I get older.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. Thank
yeah.
you. That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that. I love that. Just going back to who I am, because now I know it's okay to be that person. It's okay. Shayo, I'm going to kind of land on you. Again, back to how because I'm very keenly aware of the fact that our lived experiences as men and women are different. It's the truth. It's the reality. I said there are some things that are neither good nor bad. It's just what it is. The lived experience of a man, generally, just even from biology, is different from lived experience of a woman. And then now add society and the expectations and all of that on top. For you, are there people in your life as a man that you definitely know have or will continue to influence your expression and your identity, and who you, because it's very nice to say, I don't care, take me like that as I am or leave it. But the reality of it is there might be some stakeholders that, these are stakeholders, a good part. And I know it evolves because as a teenager, somebody who still depends on their parents, your identity is restricted to what your daddy who is paying your bills needs your identity to be for him to keep paying your bills. Up until you become an independent person. As a woman, then your husband, who your husband is, determines who your identity is in some cases. And then as a man, so tell me, what's that experience been like for you? What is shaping who you are currently, if any, at all? And, I think we'll go from there.
Yeah. So thank you so much again. Amazing, conversation here. And to answer your question, it's very, very simple for me. It was my dad. My dad, when you sent this stuff to me, and as I was thinking about what I was going to just, drop here as, my understanding of this topic, my dad was the person who made me understand the importance of joy very early.
Joy.
Like, and the way he made it happen was because he attached it to his choices. He didn't allow third party inferences or influences to make him make decisions. So, and again, the way he presented it to all of us, myself and my siblings, was joy. And the reason why it was very pronounced when we were younger was because my dad was Anglican and my mom was all these pretty cocoa people, right? My mom would come in. I'll try to make it very brief. My mom's way of thinking, because of that, her own affiliation to religion was mostly fear. Kini kan ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀. Well, my dad would always just be like, kind of call him. My dad would probably just sing one hymn and would probably not even care. And it always reflected in the way he took on life. He made very simple choices. And again, he attached everything to joy.
Joy.
As long as you are able to be happy with what you're doing, you are good, irrespective of whatever your mommy's pastor said, or whatever the devil said, or whatever the Satan, whatever he just ensure that the common denominator for everything you're going to do with your life, just
Joy.
ensure you are happy with it.
Joy.
So I understood that very, very early, right? And that remains the biggest influence in my decisions till date. Okay. So my life, even as my dad was like that, he also had his own, how would I put it now, his own issues together with my mom. So they were different in that pattern with life, but then they still created a kind of situation with us. They had expectations to how we're meant to turn out. Today we've had conversations about millennial, Gen Z, baby boomers, and I'm glad that all of us have an understanding of how our parents were. My mom is a Gen X, my dad was a baby boomer. So back then they had this conventional way to planning out your life. So I was meant to be this high flyer medical doctor thing. So they made it like programmed. Yeah, still coming to we're not going to do any other thing other than becoming a medical doctor. And like again, I'm going to borrow one of the phrases we used today. I was compliant.
Yeah.
And I was just okay on Dada doing the Omoluabi thing. But deep down, as early as when I was like 8, and I give credit of this part to my mom, because my mom would always ensure that we follow that to or they die or shouting on mountains and all of that, right? So that ecosystem, yeah, made me look at these guys and be like, why are they shouting? Kilo little by as young as I was, I realized that no, I'm gonna believe my dad. Life must not be this hard. Who they chase you? Why they shout? Which one be you want follow God talk? They shout. So like that ecosystem made me realize the fact that my dad must be right.
He was onto something.
Life must not be this hard. But so that ecosystem with my mom being overly religious helped me to embrace my dad's way of belief with life. So when the conventional thing happened and I was being compliant, I had that weapon of my dad's belief that I was going to use back on them, because while I enjoyed medicine, while I aced school, I knew I was going to become a creative. And thanks to my dad too, he loved books. So I had this exposure to books and newspapers every other day. And that was how the seed of being a creative was, I believe it was, kind of dropped in me. I just knew I was going to become not somebody who was boxed into a particular, occupation. I still love medicine. I practiced for a little bit to NYC, but the creative part of me gives me joy. So that's what I want to,
I love
link up
that.
together. So while I had the trouble trying to navigate, the focus on who I was going to
You
be
went back to
was
joy.
almost like a blinkered horse. Like I did not even lose focus of that on that plan at all. So it was not easy, but it was the focus was really, really there.
Yeah.
It remained there, and it was down to that influence of my
Your
dad
dad.
ensuring that in this life, you need to ensure that you do not lower your
Lose your joy.
standards and ensure that it's just tied to your joy. So
Thank
understanding
you.
how
Yeah.
joyful you need to stay alive, because life is already pretty
Thank
much
you. It
hard
is
on
hard.
itself. So
It is hard. Yes.
joy, if the maths gets you to joy, you're
Yeah.
good. So
You're good.
that's how I think
I like
it
that.
works for me.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I think that's a very strong note to, wrap the panel. I love that. There is this ideology, from there's an ideology started by somebody called Marie Kondo. It's around interior design, and all of that, but I think, it applies here. She says that
Yeah.
when you are deciding, for example, if to keep this remote control or to toss it out of your house or whatever, you should ask yourself, does it spark joy? When I look at it,
Yeah.
do I have memories tied to it that sparks joy? When I see this thing, the colors, does it spark joy? If it doesn't spark
Exactly.
joy, throw it
Yeah.
away.
Mm.
That's basically what she
Yeah.
said. So I like that, you've
Exactly.
kind of made joy the center point of your identity. I am whoever I am, as long as it sparks joy. If it doesn't spark joy, I'm not
Exactly.
doing it. That's not
Yeah.
who I am. So great.
And
I
the
love
joy,
that.
sorry, to chip in,
Sure.
sorry, Olajumoke, to chip in, the joy is not just like Pamori Gijiga, or
Oh
like the
no,
joy is more or
no.
less like fulfillment,
Oh yes,
things that actually make you feel like satisfied internally.
of course.
When you're pretty much well aligned with your spirit, your mind, you're
Yes.
not overly perturbed about anything.
Anything. Yeah.
If those decisions you make part time get you there, don't blink.
Yes. I mean,
Basically.
so joy is a
Yeah.
deeper concept than happiness. Happiness is fleeting, comes and goes.
Exactly.
Joy
Exactly.
is an identity. It's who you are.
Exactly.
Is
Yeah.
even when things are
Exactly.
not happening well, there's joy because you know why it's not happening. You have perspective. So thank you for
You
that.
get it.
I
You get
truly,
it.
truly
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Guys, we have
You're welcome.
gone about an hour above, but I enjoyed every minute of it. I hope I've not been too selfish in just drawing us out, but I appreciate every single panelist. You guys have been here from beginning till end. Whether your panel started and ended, everybody that started is still on this list. I'm super grateful. Thank you, attendees, for joining. Again, as much as I love the book I've written, I love it. I want for you to buy. This is just the beginning of the just marketing and talking more about some of the ideas I've shared here, and I want to share with the readers of the book. It's just a start. However, this conversation in itself, minus even the book launch, I'm full. I am full. Just hearing the wealth of there's some things that's been said here that I've not fully digested and chewed. I will sit and chew some of the concepts around people pleasing and how it exposes us to danger. I've never seen it that way before. Eketi, thank you so much. I've never seen it that way before. Just how rather than say no, let me just say yes, because that confrontation, I don't want to have it. So let me just say yes. But then it's a slippery slope, because that was what I heard you say. It's just a slippery slope down until one day you don't recognize yourself again. All the small no's, small compromises on who you are. It's a slippery slope, and then you don't recognize yourself. I took that away. I took many things away. I took nature and nurture. What parts of my identity was I given to by society? Shaki talked a bit about that, how our parents, Rachel talked about that as well. Yemisi talked about reconnecting with who she truly is, her inner child. I like that. If I want to blow blom blom, let me just buy blom blom and blow it. Just blow blom blom.
I'm going to do bouncy castle before the end
For
of
the
this year.
day.
By
Do
the
you get
special grace of God, bouncy castle I'm going to do
guys, there
before
was
the end of
something
this year.
I went to an event and they did. I was tears were running down my eyes. For some reason, it was just weird. We went to this women's event, small event, and one of the speakers, before her session, shared coloring books. There was maybe 40, 50 of us women in the room with crayons. In my mind, I'm thinking, what is this? And then she said we should just start coloring. And as I was coloring, just normal, teddy bear, you color within the lines, and they will tell you, those coloring books, they will label 1, 2, 3. So you use 1 is green, 2 is blue. And then as I was coloring, I don't know what it was, but I just kind of felt like, why don't I color more? I need to buy coloring books. And I went and bought coloring books. And I will sit down when I'm overwhelmed, maybe with work, I close my laptop, I start coloring. And then there was one time I just told myself, why are you coloring between the lines? There's one page that has jaga jaga. I just jaga jaga it like this. And I thought, this is some kind of therapy. This is some kind of therapy. So I got that from you. Missy, connect with your inner child. Chaki, I got from you, look, your parents, some of us have had the privilege to have really amazing parents who knew what they were doing from get-go. And those of us who had parents who didn't really know what they were doing, it's okay as well, because the same shoe we did, so not the same shoe we did. So Rachel said it. One day in 20 years' time, our children will gather. So one of them will write a book and they will all get on a panel and start saying, actually, my mom, my dad, So it's not really about, they did the best with what they knew. So I get that. Thank you so much, everyone. The last part of this is me toasting. This is a very unstructured. I'm toasting everyone here. It started out with me saying I was going to toast myself, but that's so selfish. So I'm going to toast everyone here. I'm using a champagne glass. This is not champagne. This is some kind of wine. This is a toast to all of us adults on this chat, except for maybe Tamilore, who is just about to adult by maybe a year or two officially, but he's doing adult things. Tamilore has a job and jobs that he's doing. So everybody else here can drink. So I'm toasting to us adults who are raising ourselves, even in the midst of some of us raising other people. Some of us are raising others now. Whether you're a biological parent or not, you have people who rely on you for advice, who look at you, who ask you for your thoughts, your opinions. You are raising them. There are people who, and we see this concept online a lot, where I take a decision, I say something. People say, I'm disappointed in you. I used to think you doing better. There are people who you don't even know you are raising, but apparently you are raising them. Because when somebody tells me they are disappointed in me, or I didn't think you were like this, I'm like, which one is your own disappointment? So I'm toasting all of us here, adults who.
Why did you appoint me in the first place?
Do you get what I'm saying? You are now disappointing. My friends,
Myself, I did not appoint
out?
myself. Why are you appointing me? That I don't have sense.
So I'm toasting all of us adults who are winging it truly. Every day is a new revelation. Every day is different. Every day you are making decisions on the fly, hoping those decisions don't break yourself or someone else down the line. It's a scary place to be in, but it's the reality of the life we live in, just daily decisions. Some decisions are simple, some are harder, some you are even paralyzed to make right now because the consequences are so far-reaching if you make a mistake. What I want to say today, I'm raising a toast to you because you are here, you're winging it. Whether or not you are perfect, it's not the issue. It's that you are here and you are doing it anyway. So this is a toast to us adults, making those decisions every day, winging it, getting it done, having these conversations boldly and without shame, not afraid to admit where we've been, who we are becoming. And also, gathering the courage to also raise the next generation, because some of us are parents, some are parents of children you didn't birth biologically as well, So it's a toast to you, to more growth, just more wisdom, more unveiling as we go, more unveiling as we go. You are going to see a lot more gist about the book. So yes, I'm one of those people also that I love this conversation. I'm reeling from I'm reeling from it. I would love for everyone to have a copy of Winging It, please. You can buy it on Amazon if you're not in Nigeria. If you are in Nigeria, you can buy it on Sellers and ebook. If physical copies will be made available, you can write to me, maybe on Facebook, or just write to me. I would mail you one. But Roving Heights will carry it within a week or so, in their Lagos, Abuja, and all the bookstores. So please watch out for that announcement as well. I'm really grateful. Thank you all for joining this conversation. Thank you. I didn't drink the wine.
Thank you so much for having us. It was such a brilliant session. I surprised myself with my attention span.
Like, even me self, the host, I'm surprised that I'm here till the end. Thank you, everyone. Comment section, attendees, you guys were on fire. I love it. I wish I could screenshot and just keep, but I know a record of this would be, on. Thank you, Jumoke, for winging it and for this forum. Oh, thank you, Yemi.
So
I guess I winged it.
Yemi's session. It's live on YouTube too, and it is. To be saved on
yes,
YouTube,
it's live on YouTube.
So you can catch the parts that were patchy.
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
I got to meet a lot of my mentors. Rachel, I'm calling you out.
Oh my God, people are fangirling.
My mentor,
the onion was. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'm grateful.
The only person I don't know
Tammy.
here is Olabinjo.
Oh yes, Olabinjo is not you people's Facebook. Olabinjo is Olabinjo, are you on Facebook?
I don't think so.
Binjo is on LinkedIn. He's on LinkedIn.
For old people. I knew. I knew I was going to hear the ageist Facebook comments. I was expecting.
Is it? No, but guys.
Do we need to go download TikTok?
Thank you, Rachel.
Are you a ghost online?
No.
I'm primarily only active on LinkedIn and WhatsApp.
That's what I'm saying. It's on LinkedIn. I say what?
I can only do one at a time. No, I used to be on Instagram. Then I used to be on Twitter. I can only do one at a time.
That's why.
It's on LinkedIn. No. But you said that's why he's a founder. You people did not find anything. No, but that's the funny thing. Everybody has founded something.
Why are you putting off my life, Ibukun?
Thank you. Why is Ibukun Gen Z in there? What's going on? Why did she off?
She has come to my office. She has left where she was having a meeting. We're in the same house.
Eketi, thank you so much. Eketi, love you. Mutia, thank you. I see you were driving. Thank you so much. Atinuke, I'm grateful to you. Yes, I know. You've been multitasking. Oh, yes, item 7. DoorDash, all of you in the abroad, DoorDash is ringing your bell now. Go and collect it.
Okay, sorry, just one quick thing I wanted to mention.
Yes.
Because there's so many great nuggets in the chat, you can actually, if anybody's on Zoom, you can save the chat, right? So if you click on the 3 dots.
Yes, I click on the 3 dots.
In the
save chat, I've seen it.
It gives you the opportunity to save the chat.
Chat
so
saved.
if you want to pick up any of the nuggets,
I've done it.
Just wanted to mention that.
I've done it. I've gone to save the chat.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Save chat.
Awesome.
Oh no, the chat is amazing. Thank you so much, guys. I'm really grateful.
Everyone.
There'll be more of these pocket conversations. Yes, and I hope to catch one of you on a private session, just me and you, talking about different things, as we go along. Thank you so much, guys. I love you.
I wanted to. I was going to quickly say something that Jumoke comes with a buy one get 4 free package. So in case you start to see,
yes, so
like some. It's
okay.
Yes, it's
I love it.
Excuse me. Yes, it's a
Is it not
buy
get
one
5?
get 4 free.
It actually gets 5.
Hey, Jesus,
It's get 5.
Who are you excluding? Who are you counting and who are you excluding?
Thank you so much, guys. So,
thank you so much.
Bye. I love you. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. Support the author by just sending her random funds. Bye. Just send her random money. Thanks. Bye. Thank you so much, Candy. Hey, I can see Candy's name now and everybody.
The rest of us have a party to attend, so go and dress up for.
Yes, I know. Thank you, guys.
Some of us are working tonight. The doctor life.
Please. The doctors on this call should not intimidate us. If your title is doctor, just please.
He's not doing doctor work.
Patient lives matter.
And Labaka is proud of you, always proud of you, super proud of you.
Yes, Tammy, thank you so much. Tammy is
congratulations
amazing.
for the good news that came this week. Tamila got a scholarship this week.
Yes, I didn't want to say.
DJ.
Labake, do you know how much I
Yeah, we
struggled
have to say
with
it.
not saying it?
I know.
Because
I mean,
I
the
like
call
to
is
say it.
over now, so
I
we're
now
going
thought
to say it.
I could see you telling me that nobody can even tell this Jumoke secret. She has told the whole world. I swear that's why I didn't say
So
it.
for us in the O'Shea group, Tamilora is the oldest kid we have. So for the rest of us, like okay, so we are going to model. I think Momila is next in line
He is
after
next in line.
Tamilora. So
Yes.
planning for college for Momila is like, okay, so Tamilora is done with this session, this part. This is the sixth form school Momila will go to based on what Tamilora has done. Okay, Jumoke, give me tips on what to do.
We've all been doing it together.
Everybody. So Tamilore has a lot on his shoulders. Like he has some invisible 8 siblings behind him.
You are the
He has
firstborn of 8
lead,
children
and
behind you, Tammy.
and he has been exemplary. So we are proud of him. So please help us congratulate DJ Tam.
We love him.
Thank
DJ Tam in
you.
the house.
Love you, Digital. Well done.
Please, can Ibuko
Well
hear
done.
me?
So
Ibuko,
proud of
clock
you.
it, clock it, clock it.
Clock it. Clock it. We
Dr. Gold, I always
clock
like to
Rolling
it.
our
show
eyes all over.
So
Jenny, see, I'm telling you. See, guys, the people on my panel session, I've been looking
I
forward
see
to.
you, Dr.
Like,
Gold.
see you. Like, I am. Please stop calling me Dr. Gold.
Shakira, do
Dr.
do 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 do.
Gold.
Shaki, hey, Shayo,
I
we
will
say it.
Shayo.
I know.
I can still
I will
punish
say
you.
it.
You know, I can still, I know what to
You're
do.
my
Okay.
chief now. You're my chief. Like,
I beg
I'm not
you,
talking, you know.
leave all that.
Me, I am
I think
going now.
nobody has signed
I've
up.
not
Nobody has signed up for
eaten.
this update. 27 participants are still there. People did not say that you
I'm
are
telling
tired. You are
you,
not tired.
I've not eaten
These people
today.
like
we
this
I'm
had
thing.
fun.
hungry.
Jumoke, sorry, I'm
We
eating
had
my own
fun.
club sandwich.
I
Share it.
know.
Shall I share with you? It's really rich.
I've
Oh
eaten
yeah.
bread and akara on this show.
Oh yeah. Bye
I'm
bye. Bye
dashing
bye.
Bye,
down.
everyone.
I'm dashing down
Bye.
immediately.
Love you. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. How did they live? What they used to live
How
something
did
there
they
now.
leave? We can hear you struggling to leave.